There is something to be learned from a podcast. When meeting with a sudden co-host, you try not to get popcorn and run quickly along the cinema. But doing such things as passing under the eaves of projectors, you will still get popcorn. When you are resolved from the beginning, you will not be perplexed, though you still get the same snacks. This understanding extends to the Neon Crew podcast.
Nice.
I kind of slipped into a little bit more of a Lawrence Fishburne instead of a Forest Whitaker.
Sure.
Who I feel like kind of embody the same type of thing, but are very different still. Like, you know.
What came first? Well, I know what came first.
And I guess I have this idea in my head because I was making a lot of comparisons to Lawrence Fishburne's character from the John Wick movies.
Absolutely.
Just very naturally, that's where my head goes.
I think it's well warranted.
I think so, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 113 of the Neon Crew podcast. My name is Kyle.
I'm Mac.
I will ask you this quickly before we get into the film discussions. How is your best picture journey going? I watched Secret Agent I think I watched it yesterday, and that was the last one that I needed to finish.
Okay, you're miles ahead of me.
Streets ahead.
Yes. Only 4 blocks. So,
okay.
I think I got 3 tough ones that to find.
Can I guess the ones that you still have to get down?
Yeah.
Hamnet?
Yep.
Frankenstein?
Nope.
Okay, you got Frankenstein out of the way.
Watch that travesty. Yeah.
Oh, man. I cannot wait to talk about it. I'm going to have to rewatch it, I think, because I have
for you.
I have a higher opinion on that movie than most people do. I understand.
Did you read the book?
I did read the book.
All right.
It's been for since community college.
There is and then we're not going to dive into Frankenstein, but I think having the context of the book surrounding the film maybe would aid that film a little bit more than the traditional Frankenstein movies that have come out.
Yeah.
You know, where it's looking at the monster that is. And I think this one gives a little bit more of a perspective on the monster.
Yeah.
That I don't think you necessarily get with traditional Frankenstein films. Now, with that being said, though, it's just...
It hammers you on the head a little bit with it.
A little bit.
Just a tad.
Just fucking stylized.
Kind of kicks you in the face with it.
This Oscar grouping is just... I'm just going to title it style.
Interesting.
Like, there's so much shit. I mean,
I can see that,
not all of them. Like, the recent ones that I've watched, so I was at so I've seen 2 since.
It's a very flashy lineup. I was just gonna say,
like I don't know. I'd have to go through kind of peel back the layers. But even like Sinners, and I really like Sinners. Sinners is stylized.
Yeah.
Now it still has a certain like graininess or grittiness to it.
Yeah.
And I think it's more of the environment that it's in. But like, dude, I saw Frankenstein in F1.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And F1's fun. There's no fucking way that should be up.
I really cannot wait to talk about it. I am 100% with you on F1.
I don't know. I feel like this year they're like, hey, we need 3 and 7 fillers.
Like even if you have the opinion that Frankenstein is a worse movie than F1, which a lot of people do, I feel like there's more justification for that being in the lineup than F1 when it comes to the nominees.
If I was just going like movie enjoyment for like, I'm like F1. Now if I'm going for like Oscar films, neither of them. Like I don't, I mean,
yeah.
And don't get me wrong, they're both well-made movies. Mm-hmm. But I think we're in a day and age now, like fucking Iron that we're going to talk about.
Yeah. I
mean, holy shit, that's a first-time director. And like, we don't have to, we won't get into it right away, but like, you're telling that doesn't hold a candle to F1 in terms of appearance and look and vibe?
I think the release date for Iron Lung, I mean, it also came out this past month.
Well, I'm not saying it should be Oscar nominated,
right?
But my point is, if you were to watch F1 and then go, all right, let me set it up this way, okay? Like you just go and see F1, and I walk up, I'm like, you're gonna watch a first-time director with a $3 million budget video, a movie based off a video game, okay? What immediately? Where is your head gonna go? Like,
yeah.
Do you think, oh, this is gonna be cleaned up, style, like great app? No, I would be like,
yeah, it's gonna be like Blair Witch Project underwater.
Yeah, like I'm like, all right, like let's see what we got here. You know, there's no way in terms of appearance, direction, so like it all is right there with F1. So that's what in F1 the story is just so fucking bland.
What story?
Oh my god, seriously.
How Brad Pitt is good at everything and we should worship him?
Dude, well, who's his character in Cliff Booth?
Yeah.
Like he's Cliff Booth in racing.
Speaking of Cliff Booth,
yeah, I saw
Superbowl.
I didn't see that. Did they have a trailer for it?
They did have a trailer for it.
Damn it, I didn't see it.
They didn't have the title, which was kind of funny. It was one of those things where like they played 30 seconds of it. And
is it just a scene?
It wasn't. It was a montage, so it was like a normal trailer.
Okay.
Except it had the energy of, oh, you can like look this up yourself. Just type in Brad Pitt new movie, and I'm sure you'll find it.
Yeah.
But it didn't even have the Adventures of Cliff Booth at the end of the trailer. It was just like, I don't know. We'll see. It's just, I think it had the Netflix logo. And that was it.
So it's a Netflix movie?
Well, David Fincher's directing it. And David Fincher
is owned by Netflix. I forgot.
Basically.
Yeah, they have him on a chain.
They have him in a submarine
Bring
locked
in
up.
the Fincher.
Netflix is the blood ocean, and David Fincher is the guy locked in the submarine, being sent down to explore it.
Yeah, that we'll talk about that, but I don't think that felt like much of an agreement by both those parties.
Yeah, not much consent going on in the
definitely
decision
doesn't
making.
feel like it. Yeah,
no. Well, we can get into it. Unless we want to talk more about the Super Bowl. I know you're a sports boy. Have any strong opinions on the game?
No.
No.
I thought the halftime show was. I mean, that's like the talk of the town. I thought it was great. I mean, I was talking to.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
So I mean, yeah, I watched it with my wife, and she was all about it. And I mean, I don't know if she knows Bad Bunny or not, but I don't know anything about. Like, I'm not huge into music.
I think if my mom knew about Bad Bunny beforehand, which she did, I would assume Jasmine would know about Bad Bunny.
Well, she knows like the music,
right?
Yeah. So I mean, like I know Bad Bunny from fucking Happy Gilmore. Like that's the first time I saw the dude, and I was like, I told her this too, and I said I didn't realize because I had heard about him. I feel like such a boomer talking. I heard about him when I was researching on the internet.
This Bad Bunny is a real bad guy.
So we saw it, and it's movie related, but I mean, like I watched, he's in Happy Gilmore too,
Yep.
and I thought he did phenomenal.
Not only is he in Happy Gilmore 2, he's like a recurring character in Happy Gilmore 2. He's not just like a cameo.
Role. Yeah, it's not like so I'm watching it and I was like, oh, this is like a talented guy that Sandler's bringing on for Happy Madison while he peddles out more of the shit.
He feels like one of the few people in that movie that understands the tone of that movie and what it's
Oh my god,
for.
yeah, like he was one of the best characters in the thing. Like that movie to me was like mid, but I mean there's some laughing moments.
I thought it was dog shite, but that's just my opinion.
Well, I mean, you look at films critically. I was able to turn my brain off a little bit. Still did not get the enjoyment that I got from Happy Gilmore, but
of course,
I thought he was fantastic in it. So
he's really good.
Yeah,
he's way better than that movie deserves.
Like when you're talking about a middling movie and like you get like a good performance out, especially a guy that's not even an actor.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to expect with the Super Bowl. I was like, whatever, we're going to have it on. I want to see it. I don't know. I had no idea his music. I thought that one of my friends said, with all this fucking AI going on, you'd think they'd be able to get like American subtitles or English subtitles. Because I have no idea what he was singing about. Like, I don't know Spanish that well. So, but the performance alone and what this guy's able to do was like out of this world.
Yeah. The energy, the choreography, the whole like set.
Yeah,
with the like field, was really cool with the power lines and everything.
Yeah, he knocked it out of the park, and I don't know what he was singing about. Hopefully, it was all good stuff.
You didn't switch to Turning Point USA's Kid Rock, awesome, bonerific, patriotic, jingoistic halftime show.
No, it's all politically driven right now in America.
But Mac, Charlie Kirk died.
Yeah,
we got to sing about it. Anyway,
I thought it was.
I'm going to steer us away from that.
Yeah, it was funny hearing the news leading up to it. How it was just like started. It was like, well, we can't throw it on here anymore.
They made a post on X saying we can't post it on here because of copyright issues. And it's like, just admit that this is fucking lame. Just admit that this sucks.
I was trying to I read that and they're like, it actually is going to cost us more money to have it streaming on here than it would if we don't do it. Because the other thing too, I'm reading that and I'm like, this is at 6:00. Like I just got we did the Super Bowl, snacks and whatnot, and I finally kind of sat down and I'm like, I'm gonna get on my phone and try to check out just a couple things before the starts, and it was like one of the first things that popped up, and my first thought was like, how the fuck do you not know about this until 15 minutes before the show?
Yeah,
and so then you get into your whole thing, and I was just cracking up. I'm like, oh my god, like another half-ass flub. Right? Like, hey, this could have been done weeks in advance if you wanted to tell people about this and all. It just, the incompetence sometimes.
It feels just it's incredibly thrown together.
Oh my
and
God.
Amateurish for something that supposedly is like kind of the whatever quote unquote alternative to the halftime show is supposed to be. Which it's ironic that these people want to save space from, the actual Super Bowl halftime show that's playing. Very ironic.
It reminded me so much of Fire Island.
Yeah.
Like that's all every
Fire
time,
Festival?
Yeah. Yeah, Fire Festival. Yeah, like every time I saw it, I'm just thinking like they're getting closer and closer to just making this a full-on documentary.
There's a clip that I love that's floating around where it cuts between Bad Bunny's performance, how it's like super high energy, locked in choreography, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to some guy with a guitar on stage going, I love my fish. I love drinking beer.
Yeah, they had someone posted something that like Kid Rock's like he was like lip syncing it and like he's dancing and then the mic's out here and it's still going, so he's not even. Dude, it continually just got worse.
I watched the clip and he looks like he's out of breath every 5 seconds.
He's like 60 some. It just blows my mind. It's not even like keeping up with the times. Like,
yeah,
unwillingness to change that we got like in. Dude, Kid Rock wasn't even that big when I was growing up.
Yeah,
and I was like part of his era.
He represents like a piece of American culture that has just long died on the vine and is just not willing to let go. Mm-hmm. Guy looks like he needs Pall Mall cigarettes every second or he'll pass out. Like,
yes,
it's incredible.
It's and then so anyways, I thought the halftime show was fantastic. The game itself was like
the game was pretty dull, admittedly.
I mean, like I like defense, so don't get me wrong. I mean, but like when you're rushing just the 4 defensive linemen and getting pressure, like that's, to me, if let me see a good defensive battle that you're bringing different guys and moving things around. Like there's points, I think at one point, like halfway through the third quarter, they're like, New England's on their, this is their 8th consecutive 3-and-out. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, oh my, like we're not, at this point, it's not even a good game plan. It just shows that one team's superior than the other. So, it's just like,
well, at least we had really cool commercials with sports betting and AI and all this shit. Ring cameras spying on you, but it's to find your lost dog, though.
Man,
wink,
that
wink,
was another
nudge,
weird
nudge.
one too, where that guy's walking out, and I was like, I in good faith, sure, but also like this feels not great.
And then the awesome celebrities coming on, going like, "Hey." This weight loss drug is good, guys. I promise. Wink, wink. You can be attractive and awesome instead of an ugly piece of shit.
Dude, it was. And Mike Tyson, like, oh my God. It's just a weird time. It's kind of just a weird time. And if you're enjoying the times, like, awesome to you, I think it's just to me, there's like if time traveling ever got to vacation spots where you could just pick out like random moments in history to go to and be like, and that's like, going to visit, fucking, hey, we're going to Los Angeles, in a month. Like they're like, hey, we're going to go check out the year 2026. And it's like, oh, cool. Like have fun, This would be like one of those ones that gets highlighted and like, there's just like, I don't need like the craziest emojis you could think of between like the firework one and the balloon popper one, and then like the blood and a needle one, like just weird ass shit. I can't describe what it would feel like to come back here and just see all the stuff that's going on right now.
I would say if that were the case and we invented time travel, vacation sort of technology, I would highlight this year and say travel advisory.
Yeah, it'd be
Just, heed this warning.
It's like the
swim at your own risk.
Owen Wilson movie where they go on a vacation and
isn't that just called The Tourist?
It's something.
It's like an action movie where like he has to save his family or something.
Yeah, they're going on vacation and they're like, hey, the government's kind of getting overrun. And
yeah, they're like, we got mixed up in this like political game of subterfuge and like this regime change.
All of a sudden they're like,
but I gotta save my family.
That would be how I would describe like coming back and traveling and visiting right now.
Decides to kick his feet up while an active coup is taking place.
Yes. Talk about bad choices.
Yeah.
But we can talk about good choices.
We can talk about good choices. And maybe one of those good choices was going to see Iron Lung in theaters. So we decided to pair this up with Ghost Dog, which I will be excited to talk about that as well.
Yeah.
But I will be introducing this one. So Iron Lung. It's a movie that came out this year, 2026, late January, early February. Stars Mark Fishbach, a.k.a. Markiplier. Can't wait to talk about this whole aspect of it. It's based on a 2022 independent video game created by David Szymanski. Pardon my mispronunciation. And was basically brought up by Mark Fishbach, Markiplier, as like this project that he wanted to undertake after he played it on his channel and fell in love with the game, presumably, decided to produce it with his own money, wrote it, directed it, edited it, and stars in it.
Yeah.
You could argue he's one of the only people in it. Very
like
limited
5.
cast. Yeah, there's like maybe 4, maybe 5. I don't know. Shoulder shrug.
Yeah.
But it's essentially a very oppressive science fiction horror movie set in the future where this event called the Quiet Rapture has taken place, where the occupied colonies and planets have all of a sudden just gone dark. They've disappeared, and nobody really knows why. So the last remnants of humanity are trying to figure out how to keep the species going. There is a blood moon in which they explore to hopefully try to find answers to this. And I guess our prisoner, our convict, they call him, and we'll get into his name later, if he has a name, I don't know, has to go explore, is forced to explore the blood ocean in this mishmashed submarine. We'll see if he's able to get up to the challenge physically, mentally, and maybe there's going to be something down in the blood ocean that he doesn't want to find. So, spoiler alert for Iron Lung. I kind of threw this title out to you. We were suggesting movies to pair up with Ghost Dog. As you guys know, January, February is a bit of a drier month when it comes to going to see new movies. We already talked about The Bone Temple, so got that out of the way. And it was kind of between this and Send Help, would you say, right?
Yeah.
And I had seen both of these movies already, so it was really Mac's choice of like, all right, what looks interesting to me? Had you heard about this before I kind of threw this into the ring?
No, the only context I had was you sending me a snap that said Iron Lung.
Did I send you the picture of my ticket?
Yeah. It said Iron Lung, and I went, oh, good for him.
What's funny about that is, and I can get into the showing now, is so Markiplier, for those who don't know, is a Let's Player on YouTube. He was one of the kind of early ones to set that as sort of a, this is actual like viable entertainment, not just like stupid goofs and gaffes that I post for shits and giggles. He actually like was one of the beginners to take it seriously.
Producing his own stuff.
Yeah, and obviously like he gained success. He's pretty much like almost solely responsible for Five Nights at Freddy's being successful because he was one of the first to play it on his channel and kind of like react to that. He's known for his very deep voice.
Yes.
He's got a very beautiful baritone thing that he's got going on there that he uses to his advantage. But more or less found success on YouTube, played this game, and immediately connected with it, decided, I'm going to make a movie of this, and used his own funds to create it, market it, and basically, I mean, the only marketing that this movie had was Markiplier talking about it on his channel.
Yeah, literally.
And I truly did not anticipate the amount of widespread success that this thing was going to have, being like an R-rated, based on an independent video game adaptation. And when I was going to get the tickets for this, I was looking forward to it, but I wasn't like champing at the bit, you know?
Oh, no.
I'm not like a huge Markiplier fan. Nothing against the guy. It's just, you know, a little bit past my time.
Yeah.
In terms of like what I enjoy with that sort of thing. So I got my ticket for Saturday night, 9 p.m. showing, thinking, oh, you know, there won't be as many people, because the 6 p.m. showing was absolutely packed. It was like one of the only times I'd like gone to get a ticket ahead of time, like maybe a little less than a week, and it was just almost completely sold out. So then got my ticket for 9 p.m. thinking, oh, you know, it might be half full, you know, if people want to like come out to this thing. Entire thing was full. By the time I got there, by the time that I sat down, like every single row was just occupied with very fervent, passionate Markiplier fans specifically. I don't know how many people were there for just like the movie itself, or like maybe they were fans of the video game, but I feel like damn near everyone there was a fan of Markiplier. Like they would come in and they would like point at themselves and be like, hey, you know what, there seemed to be like a heavy community aspect to it that was like really driving this thing.
Yes. Okay.
So that was my experience in the theater with it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't have I went Sunday morning, like 10 a.m.
Good choice.
Thinking that, you know, well, I always like it when it's so I walk in there and there's I think it was two gentlemen sitting up there. Like it ended up being a dad with his kid.
Okay.
And I thought, all right, it's kind of odd. It makes more sense after the movie, you know? It's like, I didn't know. Okay. And then two like high school chicks like walked in, or, you know, so there's 5 of us sitting here at 10 a.m., which if people show up that early to one of those movies, to me, it's always like, all right, you know, closed your eyes and went down like this on the catalog of movies to select, or you've got some fandom, you know, and this might be the only time you can catch it, which oddly enough to me, it's always like, I'm not part of this unity, you know, like I'm just here to, I said yes to this one as opposed to another one.
You're kind of on your own little island, your own submarine, if you will.
Yeah. And so I knew nothing about the film. I had read, so you sent me that snap, and I went to IMDb, and the poster art for this is it's odd. There's not much. After seeing the film, a lot more of it connects or makes sense, right? But
was it this one?
Yep. Yeah. And looking at that, I was like, oh, okay, like it kind of looks like skeletons or a monster with teeth. Like I'm not really sure. Iron lung. So I clicked on the synopsis on IMDb, and it just says, you know, in a world with, you know, apocalyptic world, and there's, you know, a moon is filled with blood, and I just went, okay. So I was like, I'm gonna stop here, because I don't know much about it. Right? It's kind of like if between that and the Send Help one, I was like, all right. Like one of my coworkers talked to me about Send Help, and I was like, I'm not interested. Like corporate Raimi doing something, it might be fun, but like how much we're gonna get to talk about. So I'm gonna take a shot on this like little film that I have no idea about, and we'll see what happens. So funny enough, that's why I chose to go to it. When you sent me that thing, and I'm starting to find out in. I'm either stupid or they need to change the terminology on this. It says in theaters only January 30th.
It's funny that you said that, because I had that same thought.
Yeah.
Of like just the phrasing of how like advertisers now will say like in theaters only January 27th. And I'm like, you mean it's only in theaters for that day? And if it's a movie that's like particularly small, it's like a little bit eyebrow raising of like, does it actually mean only for this day?
That's
like, are they doing some like art house limited time bullshit, or like what's going on here?
That's what I thought. So that's what I thought.
Some fear of missing out.
Well, I looked at that and I was like, oh, okay. Like, so what's funny is,
No, you're good. Keep going.
Okay. What's funny is Kyle's got we got some mic connection problems.
Yeah. Might have to increase the volume in post, but it's not an issue.
So I read that with this one, and I was like, all right, because I think it was January 30th, the day you went too. Like
I went, I think the day after it opened.
So it might have been.
It came out a Friday. I went on a Saturday.
It was
night.
close enough to where I was like, all right, he caught the one screening of this thing, this low budget, whatever. That's another reason too. I was like, some artsy fartsy, like whatever Kyle has information on, and I saw it was still available because like we were like, we can do this, and that's kind of why I chose it, because I was like, maybe we'll be out of theaters and then I can get out of watching either of these things. We'll just pick another movie to watch at home. And I saw it was still out, and I was like, what the fuck? Okay, whatever, And then they did it again for another film I'm watching in the trailer on in theaters, and it's a big budget film.
Yeah.
I go, oh, they're saying it's not going to be fucking streaming.
Yep.
It's only for theatrical release on, hey, Hollywood, fucking switch it up. Either put a hyphen in there, a comma, or two-line the shit. Don't just put in there it's only in theaters and then give a date. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Sometimes when you talk about like the specific irritations of how movies operate or are marketed, I can be a little bit blasé about like some of the feelings that you have of like, okay, the old man Max yelling at the clouds again. I am 1,000% with you on this one.
Thank you.
I am like, there needs to be someone who went to school for linguistics, who knows how to communicate this.
Holy shit.
In a way that doesn't confuse people, doesn't leave any sense of vagueness or questioning. Like we got to get someone in there.
Oh my God. Like so I saw the film, and then that thing came out, and then I went, oh, I'm really stupid. And then I thought, maybe I'm not. Maybe this isn't a Mac problem where I just read this wrong, and I'm like, oh, miscommunication on my end, retrieving information. No, because they did it again, and I thought with this big budget film, my first thought was like, that's weird that it's only on that day. And then it was like, they wouldn't do that. I think it was Wuthering Heights.
They've, I think you're right about that. Because I remember that being in the preview. They kind of did the opposite with this movie in that it only had like a couple show times when I saw it. So like a 6 p.m. and a 9 p.m. And then I looked recently, and it's like, no, it's got more now than it did when it first released.
Dude, this thing is booming.
It went from, I think Markiplier said, like 200-something screens to like over 4,000.
Yes,
across the country,
and it's well deserved.
Things got some strong ass legs, and so let's talk about the movie itself.
And so, for context, too, yes, I want to get into this because like I did a little bit of research after this thing. Mm-hmm. No idea what it was about. I have a 2-word synopsis that I had in my head, and it's all described in the very first scene. So I have no idea what I'm getting into. I also was very confused with when it said something. It was like, starring or directed by, and then it goes based on, and then it said Markiplier. And I was
he doesn't use his Christian name. He uses his online name.
Well, which
is kind of smart because that's what people are going to see the movie for. A lot of them.
There was some Fishbach. It's Fishbach, right?
Yeah.
There was some. It said Fishbach and then Zemansky, and like right in the, I think in the beginning, it's an ode to it being based on a video game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that immediately I was like, oh, okay. Like I'm seeing some of this. Like this is all just me. First time experience with it. And then the Markiplier name comes up, and I'm like trying to say it, and I'm looking at it. I was like, man, that's just such an odd last name. And I thought, why are they just doing the last name for this guy, right? Like, what is all this? And then then it's self-discovery after the film about all this stuff, and you learn all that. But it's a very unique approach, and for me, not having seen it, I think gives all the more credit to where I go with the review on it. But yeah, like I had no idea.
Yeah. So let's get into the film itself.
Yes.
So my perspective on this is I am so happy that this exists. It is one of those things that the way that this is being talked about online is like the little movie that could. Like, oh, look at how many screens it went to. Look at how much money Markiplier was able to make with this little budget. Look at how, consistently it turned out. Yeah. And I think a lot of that rings true with the quality of the movie. I really like this as a just almost pure sort of like tone aesthetic, like the oppressive sci-fi world that is being portrayed, as minimally as it is, is so effective and overbearing in a way that I think just works. And you know, I don't know if it was just my theater or if you experienced this too
with the 5 people.
The kind of sound design,
oh dude,
I wanted more of like that as a presence, and I don't know if it was just like too quiet in my showing, but there was a bit of a difficulty for me to kind of understand what he was saying.
No, that was totally. I one of the mental notes I made in my head was everyone has to talk about 4 decibels below in this baritone voice, and while you have the creaks and all this shit going on, not be able to understand some of this dialogue.
And either like give me subtitles or like turn the volume up, because like usually if I'm in a movie theater, it's like crank that shit. Going to watch Warfare, I want to hear the bullets whiz past my ears.
Yes.
Whereas this one, it's like I can hear and appreciate the actual like sound choices being made with like the score, the oppressiveness of it, and like the kind of droning atmosphere and like the buildup of tension. I just want that as like more of a thing. Just like drown me in it, like he almost gets drowned in the blood ocean later.
Oh, wow.
But no, like the effects are for the most part, I think, impressive. I mean, there's like a few instances where like might be a little shaky in terms of like the effects and the grand scope of it, but I think it works as far as like just like keeping you immersed in this world, not feeling too cheap, and knowing kind of when to include things that are practical, which I think is like most of this movie. Like the actual set of the submarine was built for this thing. And knowing when to like sparingly use the things that are going to be like, effective on like a grander scale in like snippets.
Yeah.
You know, like the dream sequence of like when he wakes up in the ocean of it and he's like confronted by this giant creature, or, you know, just like when he's remembering flashbacks of like, you know, this space tree, whatever he's gathering around with his community.
With his homeboys.
Yeah, with his pals.
Before he destroys it.
I think those are like, this is good effective tone setting for this thing.
Yeah, the visuals and the sound design for it, while maybe some of the narration or the dialogue that's going on was a little had room to grow. The total atmosphere and vibe of this is just, it's unparalleled. I mean, you get lost in this world very quickly. It's a limited storytelling. It's set in one location, right? So
you're sticking with Simon is the character's name that you learn pretty much like 3/4 of the way through. You're sticking with his perspective.
Yeah.
There's other characters that he talks to through the window when they like pull the submarine back up, but like you don't see the outside of it. You're not privy to like all the stuff that's going on.
No, you're just set in the submarine with them. Mm-hmm. And it is it's one of those, it could very easily get lost. And that's where some of the other stimulus that comes in has really got to be effective, and
you've got to have like a good variety of shots. You've got to have like good editing technique.
That's what
cinematography.
Both those, I was like, man, these are like spot. I can't really believe that this guy's a first-time director, and I'm curious as to who helped him out with this, because so I love the intro of this thing. And
cinematography by Philip Roy, someone who does not have a Wikipedia page.
Yeah,
so
like. You immediately so they got this like over, you know, and that was one of the things that kind of bugged me too. I shouldn't say bugged me, but I wish I would have heard more of the narration. You have the narrator or who's ever kind of giving you the grand scope of what's going on, right? And I gotta imagine he's like an administrator that's just pumping, this is your cause and this is what you do. And the score is just swelling up with this as he's getting more passionate about like what he's describing. And I'm assuming that's how the game begins, like, because it felt like he was talking to me.
Yeah,
you know, I was like, all right, like I'm going into the submarine, let's go.
So I think that's kind of the sort of goal of that, is to like really immerse you in it, because I actually watched the video in which Markiplier plays the game for the first time.
Yeah,
and it's very, I mean, you want to talk about like a true adaptation of like being faithful to the source material.
Yes.
This is like as close as you can get, because The video game itself is like it came out in 2022.
Yep.
But it's styled to look like an older kind of like PS1 game.
Yeah.
With like the simplistic graphics and like the kind of very analog way you control the sub and like, you know, taking pictures with the thing, having to like resource manage, like go back and forth, discover like smaller but like deeper components of the actual sub itself. I mean, all that translates into this movie in a way that's like, oh, this is interesting. I like that he's doing this. I like that they've like limited this to a technology that is like a little bit more primitive instead of like having it be super sleek and like kind of Blade Runner-y sort of thing.
Well, I kept associating this with more of that steampunk vibe. Mm-hmm. I thought this was it was like more of an elegant way of doing it, you know, or maybe not as close to as like Victorian and, you know, 1800s style, but very much had that kind of vibe going with it. And the way it looks and the way it's shot, it's just fantastic. And like you're going throughout the submarine, and they also present little nuggets of information like you were talking about, and like probably what the game does, you know, about him discovering more about the sub as he goes along too, which it feels very like you said, immersive. You know, I mean, you're in the sub too, and you can't help but look around, and you're trying to figure out, all right, what could he use next? What's he gonna do? Mm-hmm. And I think that's another element that makes this thing very successful is that, you know, it's not. There's have you seen Locke with Tom Hardy?
No, you've brought it up before.
Yeah, I've
not seen that yet.
You know, once again, it's set in it's one environment, you know, and that one there's not much visual going on. It's all dialogue driven, and I thought this movie to some extent was going to be that. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of brings you out a little bit. He gets reeled back up, and he does the thing with the radiation. You know, he pretty much fucks everyone in that room. And
which was a scene that got a very visceral reaction from my packed crowd.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were like, "Oh!" They were super into it. They were into everything that this movie was doing. Like it was working for them.
I mean,
movie got done. They're like hooting and hollering, and they applauded.
Yeah.
At the end of this thing,
dude. Imagine you're watching this with your boy. That's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, he's one of us. Look at him go. Yeah. Yeah. That scene, I was like, damn. I was like, we'll see what happens for this dude, and he's already trying not to fuck up. That reminded me of the guy that's like first day on the job. Mm-hmm. You know,
I mean, it technically is.
Like, imagine Sam's Club guy gets into a forklift and knocks over something, and just keeps tumbling down all the inventory.
Yeah,
it's just like, I know you probably didn't mean to do that, but there is some accountability here.
Yeah, it's like at the end you fucked up.
Yeah.
So to kind of like go further into like the things that I like about this movie, we were talking about how it immerses you and like gives you a little bit of nuggets about learning about the ship, and like the ship itself is called Iron Lung.
Yes.
When I first heard about this movie, I thought, is this about like the device that they put people in when they have like bad immune systems or something?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? But no, it's the name of the ship. It's kind of ironic because it's like it feels like a tomb. Feels like something that like you're put in, and it's like, oh, this metal coffin that I'm just like unable. I'm like sealed into this thing.
Yeah.
Can't get out. I also love the hints at the just like the greater world in general.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, you get to learn a little bit more about like Simon and like why he's considered a convict, why he's, you know, in this predicament.
Yep.
And sort of like the kind of unreliability of like either him or other characters around him, because like, you know, we're starting to question his psyche as the movie's going along, and it's like, did he actually do these horrible things that they're talking about, or was this like a frame job? Like he keeps saying like, I didn't mean for it to be this bad, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it adds like just enough world building for me to like really get behind. Doesn't really like hit you over the head with it, in my opinion.
The backstory and what they're able to provide, and as you're piecing it together, because you're piecing it together with him too. Mm-hmm. But it's some of that misinformation, I guess, that can make the film like slightly confusing. You know?
Yeah, it doesn't like hold your hand.
Not at all. No.
It does try to kind of explain things through dialogue in like kind of indirect ways.
Yes.
But it's doing it in a way of like, you know, get on board, man. Because if you're
Well, you're
if you're
discovering
not down for what this movie's throwing at you, then you might be a little lost here.
Yeah, if you're waiting on some exposition to happen in like the second or third act, like it's good luck, you know. But I did appreciate it because it is discovery through Simon. With like he doesn't know about these other things, so there's no exposition to be had. Right, that could come up, and that's where it does come up is through the talks with some of these characters that present themselves, from different ships or submarines that have gone down, and some of the adventuring or exploring that's occurred that he's not privy to, But and the reason why, like I say, I get slightly confused is because at points he turns into almost an unreliable narrator because there's some like elements of maybe surrealism going on, and you're questioning the environment, but the great thing about it is because of where he's at, and isolation's one of the things that'll drive anyone crazy. It all makes sense with what's coming on. It doesn't feel that it wasn't earned or justified as some of the things that present themselves as the film rolls along, and him turning into a little bit of an unreliable narrator is because, his mind's playing tricks on himself, and he's isolated, and he doesn't have even in the people that he's communicating with in the HQ don't even know his name. Yeah. So everything, it feels warranted and justified, which you kind of have with some of these elements that present themselves, and I thought that was really fantastic.
Yeah, I really like the idea of like portraying that decline in an indirect way of making us like wonder, like, oh, he's kind of losing it. How much of this is real? How much of this is like just in his own head? That being said, and this is something that I think I just bump up against this movie and is maybe like my biggest issue with it.
Yeah.
The runtime is punishing. I don't think this movie needed to be over 2 hours long. And this is a common criticism that this movie's getting.
Yeah.
One that I really kind of understand and get behind is like, because I was watching this movie in a theater full of Markiplier fans, people who are like juiced and amped to see whatever it was he was offering, like just like anything he could serve up and just like eating it up.
Yeah.
So I was getting a lot of the energy from the crowd of like, yeah, I'm kind of behind what this thing's going for. That being said, despite all of that going for the movie's benefit, still was a slog after a certain point.
It definitely turns in. There's a lot of fat that could be trimmed.
A lot, and I think he edited this movie himself.
Yeah,
if he just had like a professional editor, easy 90-minute sort of endeavor.
Yeah, there's pockets that could be trimmed way down, and I think that's what happens when you get into those passion projects, though, is that you have the vision.
You want to be in total control, and because he like self-financed this movie, there was nobody there to say like, hey, maybe we like kind of cut around the fat of this a little bit. It's like, no, he's just like, hey man, I shot this scene this long. I'm going to keep it in here for this long.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm going to use every bit of the bone here.
Yep. It's a great way to put it, too, because like I hadn't thought about that, but I was listening to some people talk about movies and why editing and cutting hurts. It's because you take a scene and then you just attach a value to that scene.
Mm-hmm. We've worked this long on it.
That thing's worth $65K that we're about to trim. I know it's only 2.5 minutes.
Spent this much money on it.
Yeah, I don't want to get, it's kind of like if you go to a food, you made this delicious meal and all of a sudden you're kind of feeling full. And it's like, all right, maybe I can squeeze this in, or I'll eat that, or give me a couple seconds, and because I don't want to waste it.
Yeah, I got to get my money's worth with the triple dipper at the Chili's.
Yeah. I can't. I'm not giving up, a quarter of this or an eighth of this.
I'm not throwing away this big mouth bite.
Yeah,
come on.
I can get it in there. I know I'll be uncomfortable, but damn it, it's happening.
I'm ggonna hate myself and shit on my couch, but damn it all tastes good. I don't want it to go to waste.
There's I mean, and that's what happens too in these like limited environments, right? Like you're really hinged on the dialogue and what is occurring in it, and I think you have to be incredibly fascinated with the journey and all these new elements that get brought up, and if you're not, it kind of turns into a redundancy thing.
Yeah, like I was getting quite impatient with the sort of, I guess, like middle third act of this movie.
Yeah.
Of like when he is kind of starting to, he's like communicating with this other ship, or like he at least thinks he's communicating with it. And then he's like debating, is this in my head? Do I even like risk going to you? Sort of like sussing out like, do I like try to help this person out? And that was really when I was feeling of like, I need something to happen. I need something to happen to like kind of move this along and just like cap this off, because I feel it getting towards the end, but it's not quite there. I agree 100%, because I was in the same thing. I was like, that's not it. And because I don't know the game or the story, when you introduce that too, it makes the events that occur afterwards very hard to discern from. And this is another kind of complaint that I can kind of tie into this one is like, the goal of what he's trying to do is a lot of the time not very clear to me. Right. Of like, okay, so they're sending him down to get photos and document things so that they can maybe find out like how they can bring humanity from the brink of extinction or like endangerment at the very least. Well, but how do these collections like help them out? Like, is there any sort of like clear defined reasoning as to why they need these things?
Without context behind the game, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, and I'm not asking for it to like, because I enjoy the fact that it's not giving me like direct answers, but I just need a little bit more direct reasoning as to like why this is going on. That way it can make the scenes of like him losing his mind and sort of like, going out of insanity or whatever. Yeah. Just a little more justifiable in that like, he's losing the plot of like what he's intending to do. Because a lot of the time I'm just asking myself like, okay, then what is he intending to do? It almost just feels like he's kind of like cooped up in this thing and losing it for the sake of portraying it on film. Right? Yeah. I mean, it's a little difficult with when you, and I like, here we are, we're kind of, I'm talking on both sides here, but without maybe a little bit more exposition, maybe a little less on some of the fat trimming, or a little bit more on the fat trimming, right? Like, there are parts where I'm watching this and I'm like, all right, we're dwindling down with numbers. They make it very obvious that there's only so much, like, we can't sacrifice at this point. You have clear purpose, but then you find out they do sacrifice. Yeah, I like that whole idea where he finds the note and it's like, they're telling me I'm the first one down here when clearly that's not true. Yeah, and you want to get a little bit more of, all right, well, what's their reasoning behind him going down, and is it justified for him at the end to sacrifice himself for the greater good of man? Right. And like, is what he's fighting for even worth it? And like, is that a goal that I can like sympathize with? Yeah, and because these people are just kind of shitheads to him the whole time. Well, so that's the other issue that I have with this thing, is that there's a little bit, and don't get me wrong, I'm going to knock this thing, but when you talk about like films being made in terms of creativity and like not to say original sourcing, but like these very niche movies that have like really fun storylines. Yeah, there's clear like, passion behind it. Yeah. And well, I'm just talking about just the process alone of deciding like, hey, this was a very low marketed niche game. Like, let's bring this to life. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I like those stories that get presented like that, and they can be fascinating, but like, with this, so he has his problem is he's a convict, and apparently he destroyed what I would assume is like one of the last remaining forms of life in terms of nature with the tree. It doesn't really highlight it. They just talk about how he destroyed Station 11 or whatever it is. It doesn't feel Station 11. Well, whatever. Mackenzie Davis is there. Well, they said Station like, it was like Station something. It was Station 13, I think, or something. Was like it? That. Yeah, because they had a name for it, but like so. And and maybe this is a little bit more diving into the character with maybe he's coming to terms with guilt and shame, and that's why he wants to do it. But that sense of importance, I feel like, is never properly conveyed in a way that gets me on board. Right, and he's trying to make amends with himself on it, and you can kind of feel like his own like I definitely didn't mean to do that, and I shouldn't be in this role. There's a clear inner conflict that like, even if a little bit naked faced, Markiplier is able to portray effectively, and we can talk about a little bit more about like his performance specifically, but it just never felt like the things that he was grappling with were things that I should deem important, because there's so much being thrown at you.
Yes.
With like the secret of the know, or like, the black box from the other submarine, or the creature that's like kind of fucking with him and like leaving the skulls
that we
in
really
different
don't
places.
know what that. Yeah, there's some unanswered questions, and I think if I had to guess, this guy took the video game, like made it full on through with how the game is.
Yes.
And did not insert any of his own original ideas or interpretations, or even like, hey, let's make this thing the antagonist. And we found out this is what created the blood moon, and maybe this is the source of life that we're supposed to like. And then something a little bit more than like, oh, the other sub has the black box and it has the answers, and you need to get that now.
And then we find out that the blood is all human blood, and it's like, this is a revelation that I feel like would have hit harder if we were just dealing with less chuffa. You know?
So I will say I assumed it was human blood. I didn't. They didn't.
I wasn't exactly surprised. Yeah,
but like it's one of those things too, because I was like. And it's sci-fi, right? And some of that stuff too, especially if you're dealing with like being in like a man-made device, the sci-fi elements got to ring through a little bit more, because while I understand they've colonized space or whatever, it sounds like they have, right? But at the same token, we're all dying and the stars are out and we're fucked. So
it seems like they've like barely kind of figured out space colonization.
Yeah, just enough to get escape, and like this has got answers for all. But once again, I mean, these are things that just are not. There's some sentiment around it, but there's nothing that's ever really built on, right? Like that foundation of the importance of what's happening here is never really conveyed, and the overall feeling of this game is sort of like, I hope I'm using it right, but nihilistic, and in terms of like, it's like one of the things I read was, the only our freedom is gained through loss, and the only hope is to recognize there's no hope. Right?
Yeah, there's a whole genre of this called grimdark.
Okay,
it's sort of like the kind of Warhammer, like very much this type of thing. Of like, the universe is just fucked, and like humanity's barely hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, like it's like some sort of existential crisis that's getting highlighted, or bringing actually like now you're feeling hey, this is towards the end, but like once again, that feeling doesn't really ever resonate because of how much unreliable dialogue is happening, right? Like to me, I thought headquarters was 5 people. It sounded like they could have colonized the whole fucking space station. You know, like the tree and the that was destroyed, and maybe that's the last form of nature, and they can find it on the moon, but we really don't know. It's just alluded to with all this stuff.
And I think part of that goal is like, it's ambiguous, where we want you to like ask these questions and like think about this as a concept, because it makes exploring this world, the sci-fi world, that much more interesting. And it's like there's a point in which it's interesting, and then there's a point where it's just kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit more in the frustrating camp,
because it's not grounded in reality, right?
Yeah.
So,
can we talk about Markiplier's performance?
Yeah.
I thought he was effective enough. I think it was very kind of impressively, in terms of just like, basically giving like a one-man like movie on his shoulders type of thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was good, not great.
Oh, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
But so watching this guy, like I'm like, all right, I don't recognize anyone in this film, right? And you're not supposed to, because after finding out, it's a YouTube guy that created it and hired a couple people that are probably just on the fringes of Hollywood, maybe in a couple commercials. Well, maybe not. I think I heard something that his like creative partner was in this too, and I don't know if it was a her or a him. But point being is, watching this, I was like, all right, and I'm with you. This guy's doing a good job conveying some of these physical emotions. Like it's challenging enough being in the sub. So I thought it was better than I would have expected if I had more of the context going into this with the guy. Mm-hmm. I think these types of movies are really, it hangs on the actor.
Yeah.
Right? Like this isn't getting a lot of money in the box if he's not that good. With that being said, though, I mean, you can. There are points where that he's not
you can see that he's a little green.
Yeah, exactly. Like if all right, first time doing a movie, but pretty solidly in terms of, and I gave him more kudos, just like, oh, he's a YouTube guy. He hasn't even had any training in this, or gone through an academy or whatever. Like he just hopped in here and So like, yeah, if in the grand scheme of like Pitts and DiCaprio's and Chalamet, like, no, he's not holding a candle. But like, in terms of him walking off the streets and just doing it, yeah, like I don't know how many people really pull that off.
And him willing to like kind of put himself through all the physicality of it, like crawling in these spaces, like getting drenched in blood.
Yeah.
The way he was. I was watching the movie going like, God, this must have been fucking like tedious and mind-numbing to be covered in this much blood, because I've read many times in movies that like if you're someone who's like covered in blood, like if you're an actor on The Boys or whatever,
yeah,
it can be one of the most uncomfortable things that you're put through.
Well, it just gets all of a sudden it's sticky, it's blood.
Like sticky, it's blood, it like starts to smell after a while. I read that he had to go to the hospital because so much of the fake blood got in his eyes from just like how immersed in it he was.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that too, because it's kind of like when they slime someone
on Nickelodeon.
Well, you know, like if you watch anytime that there's like a practical effect in a movie, and then they like if Josh Brolin got hit with slime on something, I would be like, I wonder how much money that got put into his like retainer that got upped up like once he read that was happening.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, those guys, they're like, we're not doing this unless they think that they're going to win an Academy Award.
Right.
So for him to go through and do it, I was just saying like, how low on the scale is this guy to get in this film?
I mean, it's impressive. I'm curious like if he's going to do any more projects, or like if he decides to either like write an original script, or like if he adapts something else, if he like
I don't know,
puts himself in the same position of like, yeah, I'm just going to throw myself out there.
Oh, he definitely
roll
has
around
to, because he's self-producing this. I told Jasmine, I was like, man, fuck, I picked the wrong career. I'll fucking fully produce this thing, right?
Hey,
like, that's all his $3 million in there.
You should have got in when fucking Five Nights at Freddy's was hitting it big.
God damn it! During COVID, I could have just filmed me playing MLB The Show. Fuck.
I read that this is now the record holder for the most amount of fake blood used on a movie.
Read that too, yeah.
Beating the Evil Dead reboot that came out 2013.
I will say I feel like that one's probably still more impressive than this, because I don't think there's a pool of blood that you go swimming in.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it beat it. So
yeah, it fucking beat, yeah, just by sheer amount. I think I read it was like 80,000 gallons or something like that.
That's what I read too.
Crazy. I think that's pretty much all I have for Iron Lung.
Yeah.
Like I said, I enjoyed the score. Just wish the sound mixing was just better on this thing. To me, it was like not oppressive enough. I just wanted it to be louder.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I could see it. I crank up the volume one more notch, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't. No, I didn't. So I guess, yeah, sound design, loved it. Sound mixing, yeah. There were points where it's just like, man, whoever directed this thing told everyone to talk in a baritone voice, or like under their lips. Like
Markiplier directed it.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that at the time. I was like, I don't know who did this. And like, to me, it was like, man, this is such a travesty, because like, if I kind of had a little bit more clear dialogue on what was going on instead of guessing, I could sit in the sub while having it fed to me, as opposed to taking myself out to lean in a little closer to go, what was that?
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate too, because while it may not be necessary to the plot, it definitely serves a purpose for some of the scenes that he's going through, and being taken out, I think, is unfortunate. Ending.
Yeah.
Is that ending? Is that really happening, or is this all in his head? Because that's another thing too that I kind of was getting to. Like, how much of this is getting built up?
How like it just kind of like starts flooding. He like gets his arm ripped off because
he's getting attached to stuff.
It's almost like the submarine starts becoming organic and like taking over internally.
Yes.
And like trying to make him a part of it, which it's stuff that I like and I enjoy seeing. Very very kind of like horrific sci-fi body shit. The sub exploding, I think, is real. The sort of like the black box floating with like the data from the other sub is, I think, an actual. If I think we're supposed to take that literally, because seeing like his frame of mind just evolve and like kind of deteriorate. I could believe that this guy would blow up the sub, and
you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like one of those things where it's he's going cuckoo for cocoa nuts, or like is this really happening? And what I'm seeing is, and once again, I think that's one of the detriments of the film too, is that like while it is sci-fi, you can ground it in some sense of these are the rules, this is what could happen.
Yeah.
And it makes it a little challenging at points to decipher, all right, is this, but I feel like that kind of plays into the nihilistic exponential or
Existential.
Jesus Christ. If you can't hear that, yeah, I got a little head cold going on.
Yeah, Mac's dealing with something.
Well, I got an excuse this time, so when I flub a word, I can blame it on being fucking sick instead of just saying, hey, I'm stupid, right? So, how I felt about the only in theaters. Yeah.
Sure, Mac. Yeah. Sure.
But that's where I think some of the detriment lies within the film, is that some of that stuff. But yeah, I got nothing. It's a hard one. I mean, it's 2 hours of a guy in a sub.
Yeah.
And it's very limited in terms of like what he's doing. It's literally just go and find, and it's not even black box. It's just, hey, go explore.
Yeah. Good luck, pal. Cool. Shall we get into ratings for Iron Lung? I believe you go first.
Yeah. So like I said, the context and knowing what I was walking into, I thought it was very fun just to say, hey, I don't know shit about this film. Let's see what happens.
I don't know shit about fuck.
The movie poster really doesn't allude to much of anything, too, right? There isn't anything that's decipherable in all of this. And if you go in with just having kind of a 2-sentence synopsis on it's a blood moon and this guy's in a sub, you don't know what to expect. That being said, it grabbed me right away. I really loved just the atmosphere and the vibe out of all of this. While I could have used a little bit more, I'd say exposition, dialogue, a little bit more of a sense of reality going on. I give kudos if that's how the game's played out and keeping it true to the source material. It doesn't give any sort of there's a little bit more grace, but this is a pretty solid 8 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I think one of the things that I really like too, and not to get on a platform here, but is we're losing some of these original stories, and we're seeing. I mean, it's feeling more and more like we're getting fed, very simplistic plots with a lot of stimulus attached around it.
Yeah,
and
the idea that Netflix is purposefully telling their filmmakers write more dialogue so that the audience doesn't have to look at the screen to know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean it's
very telling.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I really appreciate, and I want to call this an original story. I know it's got its source material, but
I know what you mean. Yeah,
it's unique in the sense enough. I mean, this is kind of you're hanging your balls out there. You're making a film based on some weird ass game that came out 4 years ago that no one's heard of. And you got a YouTube guy that's making it. Like maybe that is a sense of the times that's where we're going with YouTube content creators producing major films.
Hey, success is success, man.
But at the same token, if
I'll take a win at the movies any day.
If we get films like this, that like they utilize, this is a film. This isn't just hey, they had some really cool sound designs and set pieces. Like the cinematography, the editing in this, the acting, while like not bad, not great, it's able to keep up with what we're seeing. Like I enjoyed it, and I hope that we see more movies like this one that come out that are very unique. And not just built on some style. And this has got some style in it, but I mean, it's really based on through the set, right? It's not done. It's where it's clean around the frames.
Feels like a movie that was born of wanting a challenge.
Yes.
Of like, can I put myself in this limited space and make the most out of it?
Yes.
And I love movies like that. And I love a lot of what this movie is doing. I love the oppressive environment, the sci-fi world it's building, the tone and the atmosphere. I think it's impressive that Markiplier, Mark Fishbach himself, the man, the myth, the legend, managed to self-finance and kind of put this movie together out of a pure sense of passion and love. Really feels like you can just like feel it emanating off the screen through this, the visual language, the cinematography. The way that the environment's portrayed, I think is just inherently interesting and engaging. What I rub up against is the runtime. Like, it's, when we talk about like oppressive sci-fi, I like to have it in the atmosphere rather than the runtime. And I feel like this could have been trimmed down to a healthy 90 minutes. Really would have left a more positive impression on me.
You're saying he held you captive because you had to watch the 2 hours?
Hey, dude, I was squeezed in between so many people, all right? If the movie wasn't holding me captive, the fucking audience was.
In the atmosphere, not the runtime. Yeah. I'm chained to this seat. God damn it.
Could you imagine a 4DX experience with this? They just pour buckets of blood on your head like every 5 minutes.
I was thinking kind of like The Substance watching that.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with blood, so
just like the wet gurgling sounds.
Yeah.
Anyway, enjoyed a lot what this movie was doing, but I think there's a lot that's kind of holding it back for me. Runtime, sound design, some of the mix, the ability to kind of understand the stakes.
Yes,
we were talking about before.
Yeah,
just feels a little bit misplaced and all over the place. So for me, this is a high 6 out of 10.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, a little bit. I thought you were gonna like this a little bit more.
I mean, I love a lot of what this movie is doing. Don't get me wrong, but it is one that I think has a pretty low rewatch value, at least for me.
Oh, I'm in this.
It's a movie that I love the idea of it, and I love the fact that it exists more than the actual movie itself.
Sure, yeah, that's role models for you. I like the idea of Coke. I just don't like Coke.
There you go. Yeah. That's actually a pretty pertinent comparison.
Dude, there was a couple years ago I actually found out what that means. I was like, I had to think about it. I know what you're saying. Yeah, this is on a surface level, this would look fantastic to go in and rewatch and sit down with again. But once you're in it, it's like, and I'm with you on the rewatchability scale on this thing, but and I'm not trying to steal the line. I genuinely, maybe it's just because I like when people go through, like I like watching video games, Yeah. And this definitely has that vibe to it the whole time. Which once again, when you're talking about film, there's a clear separation, right? Clear delineation. And it didn't quite come through for you.
Not quite, but you know what? I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
And like I said before, I'll take a win for movies any day.
Would you rather see, not to necessarily say based off video games, but movies like this get made more?
1000%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Even a swing, even if it's a miss, a foul tip, or a home run, like just give us more of it.
I caught An Enemy finally on streaming. The Daniel Day-Lewis return to acting movie with Sean Bean. Now, that movie gets a lot of flack. I personally, I gave it the same rating as this.
Yeah.
But I appreciate a lot of what that movie's going for.
Yes.
And, that's another one of those movies where, you just don't see anybody, making this shit anymore. And obviously, we can talk about the idea of, Nepo babies and, he's using actors that are, already well-known and famous and, have proven themselves. But it's still one of those things where it's, it's just out there enough to where, there's something about this that just scratches a certain itch.
Yeah.
That, even if this movie isn't that good on a qualitative level, at least it's we've got some uniqueness going into the juice of this thing.
Would you rather rewatch that or F1?
Probably that. It's got a very great monologue scene.
Okay.
Very great monologue scene. Lasts 10 minutes from DDL.
See, maybe that's what hurts too, is when you're going easy on the eyes, you're I'm very happy I got to see this the one time.
Yeah.
But in terms of if you put a gun to my head and said you're gonna sit down and if you fall asleep through either of these films, it's throw on F1. Yeah. But that doesn't make it a better film.
Right.
That's and I think that's what sucks. That's kind of what I feel is coming out with some of this too, is maybe rewatchability is a thing. Maybe they have that part of the algorithm.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Speaking of algorithm, this movie's got a lot of rhythm when it comes to the soundtrack and a lot of other things too. I'm of course talking about Mac's recommendation of Ghost Dog: The Way of the Samurai.
Yes.
McLean, take it away.
All right. We have Ghost Dog: The Way of the Samurai. 1997. Is that
99 is what I'm getting.
99. Yes, 99. Directed by Jim Jarmusch, written by Jim Jarmusch. starring Forest Whitaker as the titular ghost dog, and then a whole bunch of people no one's gonna know. I am fairly certain in that.
I think Henry Silva's maybe a name people might recognize if they love watching oldies, but
yeah, that's our audience.
Yeah.
You guys like watching those talkies?
Demographics age 65 to 85.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's a pretty anomalous cast.
Yeah. Oh boy, how the movie kicks off with is it
It's a pigeon flying in the air.
Yeah, it's got a unique tone to it already. Like RZA did the soundtrack for this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's got some like urban elements to it, and it's a pigeon flying through the air, and then we get on with Ghost Dog, and we're only assuming that this is who the main character. I mean, it's Forest Whitaker on the poster, so you kind of pick up that this is who we're going to be traveling.
You know what you're getting into.
Yeah, and he has a mission and an assignment, but we really don't know. So he starts traveling the streets, and we got this the hip hop beat kind of thumping with us, and he's going around, and he ends up with this cool device, kind of stealing a car, and he's on the way, and intermittently there is some dialogue between some members of the mafia. I believe they make that apparent right away, but they're kind of talking about one of the guy's daughters, and there's a hit out on her, and or she can't be for it because they got a hit on someone else. It's got to get whacked.
It's Frank so Frank is the guy that's getting whacked.
Yeah,
that they've like set a hit
Frank.
on. That the daughter of the mob boss is seen romantically.
Okay,
and
so that I missed why handsome, because not gonna lie, strange relationship when he walks into that room.
A little bit. The vibes are a bit off. It feels a little Lynchy in that way.
It was like, hey, it's handsome Frank, and then he's like 66, and they got this young girl.
The daughter's like at youngest, like fucking.
She's in her 20s,
yeah,
right?
at oldest, like early 30s.
Yeah, stretch. And so he goes in there, and he takes him out, and sees the daughter, and she hands him a book, Rashomon, and kind of takes it, and we're now kind of fully enveloped with a little bit of the stakes of what's going on and how Ghost Dog is wrapped up in it, and it's just kind of we go on the story of Ghost Dog. So let's talk about Ghost Dog: The Way of the Samurai.
Can I just read you a couple of the bullet points on my notes that I have for this movie?
Yeah.
So first bullet point reads, movie fucking rips. Second bullet point is, it's damn good. Third bullet point, Forest Whitaker basically plays a chiller version of the Bowery King from John Wick.
Yep.
And then the fourth one, which is the last one that I'll touch on for right now, transitions are stellar. Yeah. So needless to say, showing my hand immediately here, I had a really good fucking time with this movie.
Yeah, and we'll say spoilers for Ghost Dog.
Spoilers for Ghost Dog.
Yeah, it's a very unique film. Jarmusch.
Unique, and it feels like indebted in a good way to like movies that it's kind of paying homage to in very like kind of subtle ways that you don't necessarily pick up on sometimes.
No. Rashomon I knew about, so I was trying to figure out, like, I know that one's kind of based on some different perspectives with an event that happens. Like The Last Duel's built off that, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
The Ridley Scott film.
Yeah, and the recanting of events, and what were some other ones in there? I guess I'm drawing kind of a blank. That was a big one, and that's just because I named the book.
Let's see. Film contains a number of references to Seijin Suzuki's Branded to Kill.
Okay.
Specifically with a lot of like the bird work. With,
yeah.
like the pigeons and everything, and like when it lands on his rifle when he's like scoping the mansion out or whatever.
Yeah.
And I guess it ends in a very similar way too.
There's a scene that is pulled from, maybe it's that film. There's another, the bathroom scene.
Yeah,
that's actually pulled from it's done the same exact way.
Okay, from when he like shoots up in the
Japanese film that they pulled from. So Jarmusch, he takes these elements from all these different stories. He kind of puts them together. He blends this in with a very urban environment.
Yeah.
But one that it's the dynamic, of who's running the area is never really given to us.
That's one of the things I really love about this is that it is just steeped in this idea of like kind of urban decay, but from a like kind of tribal standpoint.
Yeah,
like this idea that these guys are basically just like emblematic of like tribes over the course of human history that have like come and gone, and they are so on the decline that it almost feels like there's barely any like passion or reason as to like why they're doing the things that they're doing.
It does have that. Yeah, it's that's what I'm saying. Like where it's very unique because as you're mentioning that, I mean, none of these people are like super successful, right? Like this isn't somewhere where the houses that he's visiting or the cars that they're driving or the areas that they're hanging out in feel very ritzy. It's just kind of like we have our piece of land here and we take ownership of it. And they bring in they blend in a lot of different cultures. I think it's like chocolate and peanut butter, right? Like on the surface level, like how does that work? But all of a sudden, you got an African American male that's, he's got hip hop going, he's got, the baggy jeans on and stuff, but yet he's very disciplined and principled, and he has a code and he stays up and he's read all these books, and he wants to pass that knowledge down. You've got a French guy that's selling ice cream and neither of them know what the other one's saying. Yeah, they have like one of the most, it's a very genuine relationship in the film.
Can I read you my my written review for this movie for Letterboxd? So, I wrote, guy friendships aren't complicated. Eat ice cream, chill on a roof, speak a different language, say, I got some business to take care of, and see them tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like one of the things I just love about that as like a running gag is they just say the same thing to each other without realizing it.
I was cracking up
because they're just on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Of like, we're guys. We get it.
Let's just go watch this guy build a ship. I've got some sick things to show you, man.
But it really like kind of shines a light on the character that Forest Whitaker plays, and that like this guy is just living in a way that, moisturized, staying in my lane, unbothered, just kind of like doing his own thing. I mean, obviously, like he's doing these hits for these mafia people, but he's doing it out of like this sense of honor that he has for his master, air quotes, which is
I'm your retainer.
Was his name like Leonard or something? Or
let me look.
Or Louis.
I think it's Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah, Louis.
Because Louis ended up saving him from like getting jumped by these guys.
Yeah, which is part of that Rashomon effect of every time that story's told, it's always a different kind of inciting incident or whatever happening that Louis saved him.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Louis remembers the guy pulling the gun on him. Forest Whitaker thinks that the guy put the gun on him.
Yeah.
There's a couple scenes where it's just Forest Whitaker kind of laying in the trash, not really knowing what's going on. As I think when someone else kind of recalled, that's Ghost Dog. And then there's a brief, this is how I heard he got started, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah. That's what like you mentioned, and that's part of the discipline and his code, right? I think that's one of the ways of the samurai is that, you have a master and you're the master's retainer, right? Like I can't remember how that saying went.
I'm your retainer. Is what he would say to him before he would shoot him in the shoulder every time.
Like I can't kill you, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm a piece of you, so I can't destroy what has created me.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's kind of what it goes for.
Yeah, it like severed this kind of like circular bond that they have. Weirdly, right?
Yeah, and you say weirdly, but it feels like the whole movie's got like that effect going on. It's just a very interesting blend of cultures and tribal knowledge, like you mentioned, kind of like the tribes themselves, the communities that are getting enveloped. And there's so many like just great small scenes that happen too, which is this thing it doesn't get lost.
No.
Ever. Right?
No.
Like anytime you think it's going to be middling or something's going to happen where you don't have to pay it, you're going to miss something.
It's very impressive to me how this movie just always seems to have a clear goal and you know what it is, while still maintaining this level of like kind of laid back energy.
Oh my God, so chill.
Like soaking just in the environment of it. And like,
yes.
Even though I appreciate the fact that even though it's like an urban setting that's like, you know, pretty black dominated, that it's portrayed in a way that's like, yeah, it's not like this place is like decaying. It's just changing to a different culture. And I love how the idea that these mob guys who are like just kind of holding on to whatever little power and influence they have in their like own little world.
Yeah.
Are just like kind of questioning the whole time of like, who is this guy? What the fuck? It's called Ghost Dog. He communicates via messenger pigeon or whatever. Like, what the hell? He's a
Louis,
big black guy.
Excuse me, but what the fuck did you just say?
Right.
You don't know this guy's name. You don't know what he looks like, and the only way to talk to him is through a pigeon? What is it? Is that a carrier pigeon? What's the guy? And then the old guys.
Passenger pigeon.
Passenger pigeon. They've been extinct since 1914.
Yeah, that guy was at the Turning Point USA halftime show. Let me
big
tell
time.
you. Yeah, he was an active participant.
Yeah.
But I love that they're in like their own little bubble where they like can't recognize it, and then like people who pass him on the street are like, "What's up, Ghost Dog?"
Yes.
Like they just immediately
everyone knows him.
Everyone knows him. Everybody
Yeah.
like kind of gets an idea of like his thing. This little girl comes up to him and is like, "I see you reading here all the time. Do you not have any friends?"
Well, and it's, you know, the environment itself, it's a little, I don't want to say tricky to navigate, but like there are pockets, you know, I mean, like just you can probably see in areas around us where the rule of law doesn't exist as much so as the rule of the land.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not martial law, but it's essentially, it's these warring, and you don't even want to say warring tribes, but it's territorial, right? It's turf. It's what do I own? It's how, and these guys, these mob guys own a very small aspect of it. And, you know, he's out here. I don't even want to say he's protecting it. He's staying in his lane and he's acting on his code.
Yeah. And I like the fact that this movie never really feels like it is trying to appeal to like a wider sort of range, if that makes sense, for like the conflict.
No,
I like the
very simplistic.
Yeah, and I like the fact that the only like really kind of malicious characters you come across are like either the Italian mob guys or like the kind of white like bear hunters that he comes across.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Like every other instance of a character popping up, it's like, yeah, this is a character who is like doing their best to survive in this world, in a world that's like not even exactly like oppressive towards them or like, you know, showing malice towards them. They're just like doing what they can in an environment that like has a little bit less structure than they would probably like.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where like you've got this guy who can exist comfortably enough as this sort of like pigeon keeper who reads all these samurai texts and like is able to live this life. And
there's a certain air around it because you got to remember, I mean, this guy's killing people and he's been doing it for years, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of conflict on his end of being caught.
No, he's like almost eerily uncomplicated in that way.
It feels more so. I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, like while it's maybe not the greatest, he feels like a protector of the land.
Yeah,
right. Like it's what he's doing. It, you know, and they talk about how you only get to see the one hit, right? So it's. You don't have like these assumptions built up about what he's doing, right? And it's part of the mob, and these people are bad. And if it was Louis that put out the hit to do it, and that guy did it, you know, it's almost like evil taking out evil, right?
Right. You don't exactly like question the morality of like his previous decisions.
Yeah.
Because like you just assume, oh, if he's getting an order to like make a hit on somebody, they must have done something to deserve it.
Right. Which is a great call on his end because it might not have been the case, but like the way everyone knows him and approaches him and they're social with him, there's a certain feeling that he is like an alpha in that environment, you know, and you want to be careful about how you approach him, but you also understand. And they do a great job talking about the bear. you know, and they're not predatory by instinct. You know, they are predatory when they are attacked or feel, you know, that their territory is being threatened.
I love that moment when the hunter's explaining to him, like, well, there's not many of them left. That's why we got to go after them. Yeah. And he's just looking at him like, that's why you do it?
Yes.
Because there's not many left. And I don't know. It's just the way that is just like mirrored based on like his own situation.
Yes.
I thought was really well done.
Yeah.
So people could watch that scene and be like, why the heck did he like include a scene in this where like he kills a couple hunters and it's like nothing to do with the story? It's like, yeah, maybe it's not serving the greater story, but it's like giving you another angle of his character.
At that, like that one gives him a little bit more sense, like how you said, morality. I mean, he doesn't feel as black and white, right? Where it's like a guy tells me to kill someone, I go and kill him. Outside of that, I say discipline through my readings and my meditation, right? Like there's a certain sense of humanity or identity around him where even he can discern right and wrong and people that are just inherently bad.
He's got like a very strong sense of justice, even if it's like, you know, kind of misplaced at certain points. Because, like, you could argue he didn't need to kill those hunters. Like, they killed the bear, but, like, it's not like they, like, kidnapped a child or anything, right? So, I mean...
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they're in the files. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to look deeper. Congress, get on that. But it's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, I'm kind of just on board with him dispensing this level of... like karmic result of like what's going on. Well, even if it's like you said, a little bit morally gray.
Yeah, well, and yes, it is, but in the environment that we're in, it's not, like I said, it's not rule of law, right? Mm-hmm. It's not, we don't have, you know, the justice system being thrown at them. We don't have cops patrolling. I think there's one cop car. There's
one cop that you see in this whole movie, and she gets shot.
Two then, because at the very beginning there's a cop car that goes by, and I was like, oh, I wonder if that plays out, you know?
Yeah.
And but because of the environment, that justice feels a little bit more. I mean, it goes by what he's off to protect.
It feels like a rebalancing.
Yes, like and so you're not necessarily looking at it through the lens of murder, but more so of what thematically is he standing up for, right?
Yeah,
and I love that scene. This thing, the tone in this thing is what killed me. I couldn't believe it's so fucking unique, right? That you're gonna take all these different cultures, blend them all together. Flip stereotypes on their heads, right? And then you can have as much comedy that they have in this thing. I mean, I'm laughing throughout. You know, like it's I don't know how to describe the meal that I had, but you just know it was good when you were done with it.
Well, like the actions that he kind of carries out throughout the movie have this sort of mundanity to it.
Yeah.
That you would just kind of look at and go like, oh, that's kind of peculiar that he's doing these things these way, you know. And then when he's actually like doing the thing, the choice in terms of editing of like not having music pieces in certain moments when he's like either shooting someone or like, you know, just scoping out the mansion or whatever, it lends a lot of kind of immersive dryness that I think really benefits this movie to kind of like have that tone and maintain it throughout of like, yeah, the music choices that we have are going to be a little more diegetic in that, like, you know, what are we going to play that he would be listening to, or like what are we going to play that like the characters would be watching, you know, on TV or whatever. And it's like, I like that as just like building the environment in a way that makes it more interesting while it feels like it's not doing as much as like, you know, big blockbuster action movie where we got to have like this music blaring and like we got to have the gunshots go to the beat. Yeah, right. And it's like, no, this even like when he goes into the mansion and like shoots all those guys, the action has such a unshowiness to it while still maintaining like a style that I think is like really well done.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that's one of the things. I guess the issue that I had with it is just you're going back to 99. It's like, all right, is this a choice or is this what was available?
Even if it was just what was available, I think it was like the correct result of something that has like a really good consistency to it.
Yeah, I mean, it gives it a little bit more realism with what's going on.
Like honestly, like if he went in there and shot them up and it was like Quentin Tarantino, like Crazy 88 style action, it's like I probably wouldn't like this as much.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like it's quick and to the point.
Yeah.
And we've already kind of established that probably nothing bad could happen to him. So it doesn't have to hang on with him getting out of these unprecedented scenarios, right? Like he's a craftsman. That's where I felt like this movie feels like a little John Wickian to me.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like
a little bit.
Well, and I'm not going just, Forest Whitaker to Lawrence Fishburne with the pigeons, but even just the style of being what you call, the demigod, mythological creature, or
sort of a
force.
Like a force of nature that is like an Old Testament figure that just cannot be killed, a Baba Yaga of sorts.
Yes.
And the kind of like the narrative catalyst being this sort of thing of like, oh, they fucked with him on a personal level.
Yes.
And now they're all going to fucking die. That scene when it cuts to him on the roof and you just see all the dead pigeons.
Oh, God, yeah.
Megan was watching the movie with me and she audibly gasped. As like,
oh, they fucked up.
And it's such good, simple language. I mean, it can be kind of cheap in a way with like other movies if they use it this way where it's like, oh, our hero was wronged on a personal level that we empathize with.
Right.
That gives us a pass to like watch him murder a bunch of people.
Yes.
And it's like, it's kind of the same thing with this, but in a way that's like, you've built up this life that this guy has, as peaceful as it seems and as like tranquil as it is. It's like, you poked something that you shouldn't have done, and now I want him to go into this mansion and like shoot all these guys in the head.
Yeah.
And it's like, we have that as like justification because we've seen him like, caring for these birds, and like we saw the scenes in which like the other hitmen guys were like going around shooting all the other bird caretakers, and it's like a ticking clock that is a matter of time, and it's like the worst possible thing that you could think happens.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, no, it was great. It's so funny too. I mean, this thing's going on, and I'm like, boy, I don't even remember the inciting incident, or I shouldn't say inciting incident, but what occurred for him to go on this warpath. Because it's, to me, everything that he was doing was justified, whether they had killed the birds or not. Well, I thought it almost felt more of in the sense that
he's like protecting himself more than anything.
That's what I was that's what I was originally thinking, and then I started thinking about this film a little bit more. And I was like, oh, he probably could have just hid out. They probably, because he's a force of nature, in some alternate reality, right, or universe, he's never getting found, right? Like it's just kind of, but he's got his code, and they fucked with him, and that's why it wasn't necessarily I'm going to protect myself and not live on the run anymore. Mm-hmm. He eventually just said, all right, they've killed the only thing that I care for right now. Now I must do this, and it's just so subtly done, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't even... In my head, it was protecting himself and surviving. And you think about it, it's like, oh, he probably would have lived anyways. No, they killed all his birds, and he said, fuck that. Mm-hmm. Like, you mess with me,
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
And maybe this is, like, a little bit speculative of me, but I'm going to throw it out anyway. Do you think that... Yeah. Do you think that Forest Whitaker's character was aware of just how pathetically structured the mob was at that point, and so he didn't like go and pursue them super like head on at first, just because like he was like, well, they're already kind of pathetic, like they're already kind of just like ramshackled. I mean, the guy comes and is like, here's your money. I only got half of it, and the head mob boss kind of just has to take it, because it's like, what the fuck else is he gonna do, Like, these guys are so sad and pathetic that it's like, am I really, like, getting revenge by killing all these guys? Can I just, like, let them stew in this, like, last hanging thread of, like, mafia misery?
So we're saying, did he know how piss poor they were at what they were doing? And... yeah, it's like an old dog. Like, I'm going to take them out as opposed to let them live their last breath.
I mean, yeah, maybe like in that sense. Because like whenever he talks to Louis, I feel like there's such a power dynamic between them that is so on Forest Whitaker's side.
Well, yeah.
That it's like, he knows he's in control and he could just like take all these guys out at any given moment. But it's just like, I live by this code. So therefore I'm just going to let them do their thing until they go too far.
I think it plays a little bit more into the code, a little bit more into controlling your environment. Me personally, I don't think he knew, but I don't think he cared. I don't think he was. Yeah. I don't think anything he did was strategically involved in moving the. I mean, like they allude a little bit to him moving chess pieces, but I think that plays more into so you don't think he's daft.
Right.
Like I think it's just a little bit of a subtle nod of the character, and he reads right, but I don't think he is strategically placing these guys and viewing it from that lens.
Right. He's not like a Jason Bourne type where he can see all these different moves and like these power dynamics take place. Like he's just so detached from it all that it almost just gives him an outside advantage of like how to handle these things.
Well, and it plays a lot into the urban environment too, because like once again, without having the rule of law and it's the rule of the land, it's survival. It's not necessarily building up, it's maintaining, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the whole lifestyle that he puts himself, or he gets himself to a point where he's at peace with that, right? He's got his disciplines and principles that he operates off of, and I think that's just what gives him a semblance of reality for himself, and that's how he operates. So I think, genuinely speaking, I think that they fucked up. They killed his birds, and he said, you know what, like, you can't do that. That's wrong. And, he probably has a little bit more, I don't know, I can't even think of the right way of phrasing it, but, being one with nature. I think that plays into the bear thing too, where like you feel like he's looking at himself in the mirror with the bear maybe, but it's also, this is a vulnerable creature. You clearly have a power dynamic over it. You killed it for no reason outside of sport. Like, and he might feel that way with what the mop did.
He seems like someone who, is obviously like kind of closed off and like is pretty reserved, keeps to himself, but he seems like someone who like, if you were to really like kind of dig at what gets to the core of him, he would have like his emotions on his sleeve. Seems like someone who would I
don't know. Like I think when you get that discipline, I think he was all right. If he did that, then there should have been a scene when he sees the pigeons where he's throwing shit and doing all that, right?
Yeah.
Like it really plays into his ethos and how he operates, that it's not necessarily internalizing that anger, but understanding the emotion, and then him having a declaration of, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And it's his own sense of justice, apparently.
Yeah.
And
the scene in which like the one pigeon that's still alive, the one that he's like been sending them messages with, comes back and he just kind of like looks at it for a moment. It's like, you're saying so much without saying anything. Oh my God,
dude. Like he's crying on the inside.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was feeling. Yeah.
Literally, he's crying on the inside like, oh my God, there's still one left. Oh, my baby, come here. And it's just, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, he is a force of nature, and I think it's built through, instead of, kind of John Wick is built through with, through folklore, right? Mm-hmm. This is done almost in the way of meditation and balance and tranquility and becoming one with the world. So like it's a sort of detachment from the self, but also, I guess it's an oxymoron, but becoming more attached with your inner self,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Like and he man, yeah, and he, like, when he acts, it's almost like he's fake acting. That's another thing I love about this thing. Like when he's talking to the bear, the guys that shot the bear.
Well, there's like such a like purposeful stiltedness to the way that Forest Whitaker speaks when he's playing this character, and like just like this sense of like the way he carries himself in such an earnest way that's like not showy. He's not like trying to hide anything. He's not trying to like be clever. Right. He's just someone who's like, yeah, this is like kind of the simpleness of his character, and not to like say that in a mean way, just saying that in like I've got nothing to prove, and this is how I carry myself. Like very kind of face value performance from Forest Whitaker that I really thought worked like super well.
And Jarmusch pretty much said he wasn't going to make the film unless they could get Whitaker. And there's probably a certain style or enigma that he likes, that with Forest Whitaker that he appreciated or recognized. Because I mean, this is a great performance, and it's one that's, I don't want to say hard to do, But I mean, he just plays a chill guy that kills people.
I mean, I think there's a lot of ways in which like this could go wrong. Like, you know, you could get a performer who plays him like, oh, is he like, you know, kind of like a closed off school shooter type? Is he like neurodivergent in a way that like it feels a little bit icky for the time? It's like, no, how
reserved is he going to be? Like, there's a fine line between being chill, cool, and understanding what you're saying to someone.
He's playing it kind of in a similar way that Denzel plays the Equalizer, in that he's someone who just like minds his own business, keeps to himself. But even I would say like Denzel playing the Equalizer is a little bit more of a showy performance. Like he's
more businesslike.
He's more businesslike, and he's being like kind of very purposefully coy. Whereas this character is just like this. I believe that this guy, it just like lives this simple life and just happens to kill a few people a year.
Well, and it's almost like he'd be like one with the wind, you know, like some of these movies where you get these hitmen that have a code and they operate like it's all like they are very like the killer, right? I have my routine. I've developed my routine to such efficiency that if something happens outside of my routine, it throws everything off, right? Yeah. Whereas in this one, he feels so fluid with the events around him, right? And I think that it goes into, I always go back, I love that they have the samurai preachings and the sayings on there, and then you get to reflect with them as they go through and kind of highlighting this is how he operates, you know? Mm-hmm. And it like Eastern culture is very much fluidity and grounding, right? And enlightenment, you know, kind of achieving a greater self, right? And it really plays out so much throughout this with the character. You know, the other hitman, like when you're watching something, like I'm telling you, it got to a point I'm not even thinking that he's a hitman. Like when they're like, you know, I get this guy a couple bones every once in a while. We pay it off at the end of the year, you know, and it's just like, you're just going through and it's like I'm just recognizing it as a person living in this environment, mm-hmm. you know, and it's just kind of what his job title is, but it doesn't define him.
Yeah, the killer from The Killer is more like a case of like Murphy's Law, where he's got this system set up and like he keeps going through it in like this way that's like so pristine and perfect that like eventually it's gonna have to fuck up, buddy. Whereas like this one, the stakes are so low, but the skill is so high that he's just got this amount of power to him that like, you know, you would just not, you couldn't even comprehend it, how in control he is. And so it makes the ending of the movie like that much more powerful when he just is fully making the choice, it seems like, to die at the end.
I get, you know, that's the one thing. Well, and they set it up too because they go, you know, I have a code and I have my loyalty, and Louis has a code, he has his loyalty, and it's almost like you get these two clans that are clashing, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost, there's so much more discipline on his end to say that I'm going to take the higher ground, and the only way that occurs is if I die.
Yeah.
Right? And like, that's where I don't know, maybe I just didn't want to see him go. Like it was like one of those things where I'm like, come on. Like,
I understand that. I think it worked in that I think that was like the natural conclusion to that character.
Yeah.
In terms of like his relationships with the people in the movie and the way that he carried himself on a philosophical level.
Yeah.
Just like, I would believe that this guy would just till the end hold steadfast in his way of thinking. In that, like, the way for me to get through this is to just let him kill me, and that's there, because otherwise, like, there's no like sense of peace or balance or like whatever it is like he identifies with,
right?
Like his place in the world.
Yep.
He's like, if my place in the world is to just, you know, get shot by this guy, then so be it.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, no, really, really good recommendation.
Did he tell Louis too, where he's like, Louis, just go away, man. You can start your own family. You can start your own stuff, right? Like he had that conversation of.
I think, he tries to like dissuade
pleading,
him.
But like, listen, I can't kill you. You're gonna have to kill me. Make the right choice. Step away from all this, and it'll end right now. Because it's either gonna end with you saying I'm gonna become my own person, or it's gonna end with you taking me down.
Yeah.
And
I like the way that the actor who's playing Louis, John Tormey, who doesn't have a Wikipedia page either. A lot of non-Wikipedia page players in this episode discussion.
Me, in the last 3 months of films that I've seen, was probably it's either the best casted film that I've seen or the second best.
This is that everybody pretty much has like a good decent role in this that they let shine in a way. But yeah, this guy, I thought he did a really good job playing the character, and I love the way that he's just standing in the road, just like kind of like legs spread out a little too far, like arm in the sling. He looks like disheveled and pathetic, but he's holding so still, that it's like I feel like at any moment he could just shoot him. Yeah. Like the gun could just go off. And like I loved that as like a point of tension. I thought it was super effective.
Because you don't know how it's going to go. I mean, obviously you're rooting for Whitaker to, make it out of this thing. Mm-hmm. And you don't know how like that conversation is going to happen.
Do you need more tissues?
I think we'll be all right.
Okay.
Well, we'll find out if I sneeze one more time, probably.
I'm on the watch. Let me know.
But and and honestly too, like we talk about where like the different styles in this thing. This could kind of be like a Western film too, old Western film when you're talking about the man with no name or whatever, and are looking at conquering the town out in in Utah, and you got the sheriff, you got the outlaws, right?
Yeah, it does have like that vibe of like a stranger rides into town, except the stranger has been living in the town and like nobody talks to him.
No, I mean he's kind of
so
like
he's still kind of a stranger.
It's like I'm the defender of the town, right? Like I'm not the sheriff, I'm not the law. I keep the moral justice or the justice of the land in place, right? Like you can't have this power surge any one way or another, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's the outlaws start taking a little bit more ownership. Right, so he's got to come in and he's got to kind of clean it up a little bit, and then you get to the climactic scene where it's like, listen, we can split the town. I'm not going to change with what I'm doing. You should change with what you're doing, and it's almost kind of sad for that area too. Now that I think about it, just being like, all right, like he's gone now. Who's going to protect the people?
Right.
And
maybe the camo samurai who's played by RZA.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll take up the mantle, or maybe Perline will. I mean, at the end of the movie, she's shown to be reading the same.
Would you see that
meditative text?
Would you see that sequel? They make a film, Perline. All of a sudden,
is Jim Jarmusch still alive? Is he still kicking around?
I believe so. I mean, he made The Dead Don't Die like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, he's looking good. He's 73. Sure, why not? That's my stance on that.
Sure,
whole
why
thing.
not?
It's like, yeah,
sure,
sure,
endorsement.
Sure, why not? At this point, whatever. I'll take it. If they've got a story idea that isn't complete ass, I'll be in the theater.
God, it's hard, man.
It's hard.
We don't need to get into that right now.
But speaking of Perline, I like that kid performance, and I like the fact that they don't do the thing of like, oh, they've kidnapped her and now they're holding her hostage, or like, she snuck into his car and he's like, what are you doing
an
here?
Asset, or she's she's a player in the game now, right?
Yeah, no, it's like he literally just gives her the book and is like, tell me what you think about it. I'll see you in 3 days.
I love it because there's her, and that's what I'm saying. Like some of the socioeconomic or societal, like the familial approach, right? But her mom isn't present. You can only hear her mom calling her name.
She calls her once, and Perline is like, "I'll be there," and like that's it. Like
that's what I'm saying. So you have a strong mentor now, and maybe that's what he saw with her. Is like, now you're my retainer. Like I'm gonna, not necessarily to kill people, but if you're just applying the way of the world. Let's foster that education. Let's start having new ideas about new things that's happening around us. Become a little bit more diversified. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell you, how to swing a samurai sword, but you are going to get a little bit more grounded, and you're going to have some principles and discipline.
He seems like someone who isn't concerned with like a lasting legacy or like leaving something behind in the world, but he undoubtedly has like, I think, influenced this girl in a positive way.
Oh,
at
yeah.
the very least, of like, you know, showing her new perspectives on things and like kind of introducing her to a piece of knowledge that she probably wouldn't have gotten from either her school or fucking her mom or, you know, anywhere.
The Rashomon book?
Rashomon, and then the one that she, I think, gets... Or is the Rashomon book the one she gets at the end?
No, she gets the Way of the Samurai at the end.
Yes, because the Rashomon book goes back to the daughter, the mob boss's daughter.
Yeah, she reads it and gives it back to him and says, I read it, I liked it, but, you know, and... Yeah, and it's just great to see, you know, you get to see this young mind exploding, and he takes, I think... I really think that just in his way of being able to pass down knowledge and information and helping out with her development and growth, that's where he feels intrinsically that's that reward. Yeah. I don't need to see it with a paycheck. I just want to see you grow and become a little bit smarter or curious about the world around you. You know, just like, I mean, he seems like he's educated.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So question, does the mob boss's daughter then become in charge of the mob at the end?
I think so.
And if so, is there a mob for her to be in charge of anymore? Because Forest Whitaker basically killed them all, except for Louis. Her and Louis are like the only ones that kind of make it out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I like to think that it was like, my envisionment with all that was that, wow, I guess there's one of two things. The hope is with her interactions with Forest Whitaker and recognizing an individual or maybe an enemy, how through his discipline, she decides to go in a different light. You know, there's also that where she's sitting there, she feels very much like business-like, where she recognizes a position that she's in and that she is now in charge.
She seems like she's like kind of propped up at the end, a little bit more kind of like put together.
Yes,
in a like a commanding role, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, because Louis, while disheveled and injured, definitely doesn't feel like he's telling her what to do.
No,
even though her dad's dead.
Louis kind of has. And forgive me for saying this so brazenly, he kind of has cuck energy throughout the entire movie.
Oh, come on. Yeah, of course. Poor guy sitting there everywhere out he goes. The biggest mistake he did was hire this guy to kill Handsome Frank.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden it's just on. And then what's funny to me is while like it's ingenious with what he's doing, when he gets caught, if you were to walk in and sit down and listen to that conversation, you would be with the mob bosses.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you talking to him through a fucking pigeon? Like, I was so happy that that's the route they went, was like total disbelief and you're an idiot. Mm-hmm. You know? Because that could have easily been like, okay, you're talking to him through a pigeon. Well, what else does, you know, like they could have been like, we totally believe
They could have taken it like, very seriously at face value.
Like they're totally fucking mocking him. That's why I was dying when the one guy starts naming off some of the Native American names, you know?
Well, I love the joke where they're like, yeah, these guys all have these like funny names, you know, like Running Bull and Sitting Water and all this shit.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, how about you go tell Fat Joey and Slim Pete that we're going to head out? It's like...
Nobody. There's a guy named Nobody. Yeah. Like there's so many. Yeah. Oh, actually, I don't think that was a mob guy's name. But anyways, yeah.
That's Bob Odenkirk's name. He's Nobody.
Oh, Mr.
Nobody.
Don't get it twisted.
Have you seen those movies?
Seen the first one. Haven't seen the second one yet.
Second one is fine.
Yeah.
It is fine.
I think the first
It's a movie that feels like it's made for direct to streaming.
Yeah, I would. That's what was another film that just came out recently that like hit theaters? I was like, this doesn't feel like it belongs here.
Mercy?
No, that doesn't need to be made.
I saw that with Drew, and we were the only two in the theater.
Jesus Christ!
It was so fun ripping that movie apart.
If it's just you two in there, yeah, like just being able to talk out loud and yell at the screen for sure.
It was a good time. Movie fucking sucks dick.
I am never gonna probably waste money again like I did on our Moonfall. Like
where you paid $37 to go see it.
I'm gonna have a pleasurable experience. I'm gonna eat some popcorn, drink some pop. Yeah, I don't care. Here, take my money. This will be great. And then just like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, but no, it's Greenland too. Greenland. So I don't know if you've seen Greenland.
No. I don't know if that's one that I need to go visit.
Greenland's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
It must not be that bad if Trump wants it so bad.
No, it
Booyah.
doesn't. That is, it makes me wonder. I'm like, there's shit that happens in politics where I'm like, all right, so someone in the cabinet walked up and said we could get hit by an asteroid, and he popped on Greenland and was like, oh, that's the place.
I'll tell you why. Because he's a dementia-riddled fuck.
Yes. But
that's easily manipulated.
Greenland, the movie Greenland, is actually kind of like a taut survival movie, and it's a little bit of
because I view that as like, oh, is that another like kind of Gerard Butler like big buildings disaster movie?
White House Down or whatever, right? It's well done. I'm telling you, like I threw it on with Jasmine, and I was like, all right, what's a movie? Because I was doing my Sudokus. And I was like, all right, like, what's a movie I could just have on, pop my head up, and, play Sudoku? And
yeah, I think it's very endearing that you do Sudoku, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's my piece of the maybe not a carrier pigeon, but,
Right. That's your sense of, like, code.
Yeah.
Actual code that you have to decipher.
And, it's kind of Eastern, like, I want to say Eastern culture, but you find out fucking Hasbro made it.
Yeah, right? Fucking
I'm like, man, this is so Japanese.
same people that make Matchbox cars.
Yeah. But no. We're kind of going, but I would say Greenland's an easy one to watch.
Okay, I've always understood that it was kind of a crusty shitbox, but if you're saying that it's got something to it, maybe I'll throw it on.
I would bet you it's a 6 out of 10 on your scale.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll watch it this week then.
I was about to say I am not defensible against bad movies. You know that.
Oh, I know that more than I think anybody.
And I watched this thing fully prepared to like fucking not engage with it, and I was like, this is actually keeping my attention. And there's a couple spots here and there, but like in terms of a thriller. And so, anyways, Greenland 2 is the one I was thinking about, where it's like, feels like that one probably didn't have to hit theaters. I haven't seen it, but these sequels, Kyle, they're fucking money grabs.
Well, also like coming out in the middle of Dumpuary, it's like, that also doesn't bode too well.
Yeah.
Ghost Dog.
Yes.
Way of the Samurai.
Yeah.
So how did this movie come on your radar? This was one that you hadn't seen this before, right?
Never. No. Okay. I think I talked about it last time too. So when we used to go to Blockbuster, shout out,
RIP.
It would be in the action suspense, whatever area, right? The action thriller or whatever it's called, and I just didn't get it. Like, and I know it sounds stupid. Like, you're looking at a fucking movie poster and it's got the title, and it's like, dude, you could not, and it totally symbolizes what the movie is.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
it's an appropriate title.
It really is. And it's like one of those things. So one, if you just said Ghost Dog, right? Like, and we kind of did this exercise before where you're thinking like, all right, this is like a spirit, right? This is something. And then the Way of the Samurai, all right, this is a spirit that can channel, a katana, and then you get Forest Whitaker on there, who, once again, kind of, it's an urban setting, right? I'm like sitting there looking at it, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. So
it's a title that requires context.
You want to do something fun? Just go to work and just have the poster and say, what do you think this movie's about?
Yeah.
I'm serious. Like, there are movies, like Iron Lung would be another one where I'd be like, I've got no clue.
Kind of, yeah. The thing that these two movies have in common, I would say.
But at least Iron Lung is just the title and then some graphics and stuff. Like, this is totally like two conflicting cultures, right? Like, I would not have guessed, an African American male in an urban environment getting disciplined through samurai teachings. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know I was gonna go. So, anyways. Like that, so I've always held it in the back of my head because I always found it like it was kind of fascinating, but in a sense of like this could be really good or really bad, right?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And so it's always sat on my IMDb, and then I've heard some other people kind of mention it, and they go, "Oh man, I love that, that Ghost Dog," and I'm like, "All right, like it's got to be something." And so when I go through and I try to find a movie that we can talk about, I always get nervous because you got Iron Lung, it's like a 30-minute convo, and it's like, there's a couple things to talk about, or you get something that's really enriching and that there's, a lot of different areas to explore. And with this, I didn't know. So I finally just said, you know what, I'm going to do it. Let's see what's going on. And yeah, that's how I came across. I mean, it's kind of like totally organic, not finding on lists. I don't know what list I'd find this on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Jarmusch's best films, he's got 6.
I was going to say, I was looking at his filmography, and it's not like he's someone who makes movies that I just know. Like, I've heard of Patterson.
Yeah.
And
is that with, is that our boy Edward Furlong? Or not Edward Furlong.
That's Adam Driver.
Adam Driver.
Yeah. So it's Adam Driver, probably the most notable in that movie. And then The Dead Don't Die.
That's one
which is also Adam Driver. That one's got like more of a stacked cast.
That's the one I threw on where I fell asleep like 40 minutes into it, and I was like, I don't know where this film's going. This isn't that great.
Yeah.
And then
it doesn't have a good rating on Letterboxd.
So that's also funny too. So that happened back in October, November, somewhere in that time frame. Mm-hmm. And I went on. So Jarmusch directed it, and I was going through his filmography because I was like, this has a feel of a director that knows how to direct, but like the script is so shitty and these characters don't care.
Yeah.
They're all cartoony, right? And I go through and I'm like, wow, this guy directed Ghost Dog. So that even, you're watching a bad film, adds even more to the layering and depth of what am I going to get with this thing, right?
Yeah.
So... yeah, so and yeah, I'm not a big like Forest Whitaker fan. I think he's a fine actor. I'm not rushing out to see all his films, you know.
Yeah.
So Jarmusch is on there. So, anyways,
he's usually like good added flavor to a movie that you're watching, good or bad.
He's a good actor. I'm not gonna knock. Like it's not, but I'm not. I don't have my Forest Whitaker list on the films he's been in that I have to watch.
So Megan's been rewatching Community, and there's an episode in the first season where Jeff is trying to like fight this guy, and he's like giving him his best Forest Whitaker eye.
Oh yeah.
And Megan asked the question like, does Forest Whitaker like know that his eye is like so iconic? And I'm like, not only does he know, he fully like weaponizes that thing whenever he can.
Yeah,
because
he
knows that he's like the only one that can get away with that type of thing. Of like, yeah, one of my eyelids is just a little bit droopier than the other.
Yeah,
and
take the camera on this side.
It's like a huge asset for me.
It's menacing.
It's menacing. It's like
depending
unreadable.
on the way that like you get him in the frame.
Yeah, there's like a lot behind the lid, you know.
Yeah,
which would be the name of a documentary focused on Forest Whitaker.
Who man? I just saw someone that's got a Forest Whitaker eye
in person in real life.
I can't remember.
Was it me?
No. I mean, like, legit had kind of the droopy, you know, thing going on with the eye. I can't, like, I was sitting there, and it's funny, too, because, like, when I see that, I go, oh, the Forest Whitaker eye.
Daniel Radcliffe in the first Harry Potter movie kind of has it going in that, like, when he blinks, sometimes one of his eyes doesn't blink all the way.
Oh.
So it kind of just looks like he's got something stuck in his eye.
No, I think it was a real person, but that I digress.
Yeah. Was there anything else we wanted to talk about with Ghost Dog? The Way of the Samurai.
The book's a real book. I actually might buy it.
Oh, Rashomon?
No.
Or The Way of the Samurai?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's funny is like they kept doing those interstitchings with the title cards or kind of the transitions when it would he'd go into reading off an excerpt from this thing, and I thought this feels like Jim Jarmusch smoked a bunch of weed and like kind of is taking like his own like I've read a lot of like Eastern culture books, like I'm gonna kind of
it can almost feel a bit masturbatory if you're like not like fully immersed into what's going on.
If you're not, I was about to say like if you're. Yeah, and I feel bad for saying it'd be like kind of like Sun Tzu, The Art of War,
right?
And if they put that out there, someone could either be like, "Oh yeah, that's like an incredible scripture right there, just with what he's preaching," and someone go like, "This feels like someone ripped this off from someone," you know?
Yeah.
So I thought that was going on with Jarmusch there, and I was reading through, and then they referenced the book and some of the trivia that I was reading on. I was like, I gotta see it. So this is a real book. So you go to Amazon, and I'm like, I might buy this thing used paperback for like $9 and just get a, hey,
there you go.
Yeah, it's So that's a fun little tidbit for all you readers out there, and it's available on Kindle right away for $2.
So you're gonna get the book and read it. I'm going to find a bunch of pigeons and make friends with them, and then send messages to people I know that are very cryptic and written in small text that they have to roll up and reply to.
Oh man. Yeah, who's the fucking passenger pigeon? They've been extinct since 1914.
When Megan and I were in New York, and pretty much we've been 3 times now, and each time we've been, I've made the comment whenever we like pass a group of pigeons saying that is like one of the most grabbable birds that I've ever seen. Yeah. Like it just looks like you could just go up to one of them and just grab them.
Yeah.
Like just like, whoop. There you go. And I love the scene where the guy's like running around the room trying to catch the pigeon.
There's a couple like lampoony things happening in that film that actually do add to the sauce.
It's like it's kind of endearing in that like he's the one mob guy who's like trying to catch him and he's like, I don't want to hurt him.
Yeah, I know, right? Like it's totally not built on your like foundation, your principles, you know? And it's like
oh, that's kind of cute. You don't want to like hurt the little bird.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, that is I like that. I like yeah, real quick, and to the comedy in this thing rings true. I know we've been talking about principles and ethos and morality, but like the fucking comedy in this thing is like top notch.
It's top notch. It doesn't feel like it's trying to be clever.
No,
it's just like naked face. Like, yeah, this is just kind of an absurd situation here.
Yeah, and it's totally believable. It's not. You know, it's justified and well earned. Like I don't think they're ever putting anything where it's like, oh, come on. You know, like the guy, and I love the guy that was like totally the hardcore, probably third in line to take over the kingdom, and he's singing Flavor Flav in the bathroom.
Yeah,
he's like after they just dropped all these racial slurs, and you know how fucking profanic they are. That he's in there and he's totally into the culture, you know, and it's like it's just there's fun tidbits like that, you know. And that's the blend. Like it's fantastic.
Yeah. Shall we get into ratings?
Yeah.
For Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai. So yeah, great recommendation. I enjoyed the hell out of watching this. Great performance by Forest Whitaker. Just the tone and the atmosphere, the pacing of this was so fun in that even though you could say this is like an action thriller movie, it is got such a laid back energy that I fully respect and appreciate. I think this is on Criterion. I could see myself going out and buying this. Next time I see it on the shelf, I might snatch this bad boy up.
Where do you see it on the shelf at?
They sell Criterion at Barnes & Noble.
Do they really?
Yeah. Not the one by us doesn't really have a good selection.
I was about to say.
You got to go to the one in Grand Rapids because they actually give a shit about that sort of thing over there.
So they have like a bunch of copies of all the Criterion movies?
Yeah, they've got like pretty much like most of them.
Are they
I would
priced
say
well?
They'll have sales. So like most of the time when I buy them, there's usually like a half off sale.
Okay.
Or like even the Static Tape, the store in the mall.
Yeah.
Do I need to get a tissue?
Whoa. We're almost done, dude.
Okay.
I'm going to hold on to this.
All right. Mac just swallowed the tissue that he's using.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's getting beat up.
But I think even Static Tape has Criterion Blu-rays. They don't have like a huge selection like Barnes & Nobles and Grand Rapids will, but they've got a decent amount. And they usually price them like a little bit lower than like the standard like resale. So yeah, I'll, if I see this out in the wild, whoosh, snatching it real quick.
That's when you know it's a good film.
Yeah, snatching it like a samurai.
This might get added to my... I mean, I could see this getting added to my collection too. Because at some point you want to have that movie in there where you're like, oh, you haven't seen this. Let's throw it out.
Hey man, it's like a wine. You gotta bring it out for people that you have over.
Yes.
Speaking of wine, this is a 9 out of 10.
Wow. Yes, that's great to hear. Fantastic recommendation.
You did well. You did well, Mac.
It's so funny for me for having, it's almost, I've like known this film for so long. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a book that you have it sitting on a cabinet and you finally you read it. It's just become its own kind of lore. Like you know about it, you've seen it. Every time that I see the movie poster for this thing, like I flash back to when I was a younger kid rolling through the aisles of Blockbuster. So to have finally seen it, just could not tell you how blown away I've been with this film, and even through this conversation, just even talk about it more. I don't know if there's a whole lot of people I wouldn't recommend this thing to. It's not egregious with its violence, right? It's tastefully done. Mm-hmm. there isn't any sort of malice, right? Because even the deaths and the killing, like it's almost feels justified in a sense, right? So it's not nothing that's gonna make you feel awful. Even the ending, it's bittersweet, and yeah, I don't know. The pacing was really good. I think there might have been some dry spots here and there, but like as soon as it starts to feel like it's a little dry, it gets super friggin' moist again, and it's hard to beat. So I originally, and it's funny too, because I watched this thing on Saturday night, and late at night, and I'm starting to get kind of sleepy eyed, and all of a sudden, another scene pops on, and I hop right back into it, and gets over. I'm like, I'm gonna hold off on rating this thing, and I didn't think I did, but I gave it an 8 out of 10. I was hopping on there next day to look at it, and I said I said I wasn't gonna rate it because I wanted to let it marinate, and so it's on there. But I'm telling you right now, after the conversation and thinking about like, all right, like I will probably be thinking about this film or referencing this film in some way here on out. So it's a 9 out of 10.
Hell yeah. Perfect. Simpatico scores between Mac and I. One more bit of business before we sign off.
Yes.
I get to make a recommendation. So, to discuss a little bit inside baseball.
Okay.
This next episode that's coming out, the one that we will record after this, will be coming out, I think, the 1st of March.
Okay.
And the Oscars are on the 15th of March.
Oh.
So after... not this episode that we're recording now, but the next episode would probably be our Oscars episode, right?
Yeah.
That will be recorded and released before the ceremony. Does that work for you? Is that something that you want to do, or do you want to save it for the one after? Because if we save it for after...
no, we'll do it before.
Okay, because then the episode wouldn't come out until...
I'm always about doing it before.
Right. I think it would work with the timing because the episode would come out the same day that the ceremony is.
The Oscars are the 15th of March?
Yes.
My recommendation gets bumped back to after that. I think every year it happens this way.
Yeah, it always ends up your recommendation is the one that's delayed.
Got bad news for you, Mac. I know you just gave me another movie that I'm probably going to buy, but...
sorry.
It's all right. We got to do the Oscars app, and I still got to watch 4 more of these fucking atrocities.
You have until...
the 15th? Or the 10th.
You have a whole month.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about it. And Train Dreams is out there. It's literally just waiting on these things to hit streaming where I don't have to pay $20, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Well, I did pay $14 for Secret Agent yesterday, so... yeah, I guess however you do it, man.
Yeah. Well, it'll get done. It'll get done.
It'll get done. That's the Neon Crew guarantee.
Yes.
Cool. So then my recommendation that I'm going to be making, let me just pull up info about this. I'm not going to drop any hints. I'm just going to tell you what this is because I don't think this is a movie that you've heard of. Certainly wasn't a movie that I heard of until I had a friend watch it and then sort of tell me a little bit about it.
Newer, older movie?
2010.
Okay.
The director, I am going to try my best to pronounce the name of this guy. So the director is named Apichatpong Worsithakul.
Okay.
The movie is called Uncle Boon Me Who Can Recall Past Lives.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. I think I maybe heard the title once before, but then my friend Drew watched it and he gave it a good rating and was like, I'd be curious if you watch this movie.
Okay.
So I saw the poster. This is the poster. Really doesn't tell you much about it.
Nope.
Didn't read the summary. Really have no idea what I'm getting into.
Right.
But I'm recommending it just based on kind of, cover vibes, poster vibes.
Yeah.
And the fact that it seems to be well regarded enough.
Okay.
So this is something that we're going to discover together. We're going to check this out. It is called Uncle Boon Me Who Can Recall His Past Lives. I will take a screenshot and I will send it to you via text.
How do you spell Boon Me?
It's BOONMEE. And I just sent you a screenshot too, so you also have that.
Streaming. Prime Video channels.
Yeah. It's for rent for $3.99 or you can get like a free trial of whatever the fuck that Amazon channel is or whatever. So
Okay.
there's sources.
Yeah, it's on. Uncle Boon Me and Who Can Recall Past Lives.
That'll be a fun title to type into the YouTube version of this.
Yeah.
Have it just take up the entire goddamn space. So yeah, we'll pair that with something. We can talk off mic about that.
Yeah.
Figure something out. But yeah, if you guys don't want to be spoiled for Uncle Boon Me Who Can Recall His Past Lives, be sure to check that movie out before episode 114. Yeah, I think that's it. McLean, any last meditations that we need to ponder on?
A second. WWTHD?
Bye, everyone. The Neon Crew podcast is hosted by Kyle Yates and McLean Parker. Kyle, who is myself, also helps to produce, edit, and upload every episode. Our music was composed by Gideon Hunter. Our artwork was created by Lauren Hunter. Thank you so much for listening to our show. Episodes get scheduled to release every 2 weeks. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on various social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube community page for updates and information on upcoming episodes. Want to join the Neon Mafia? Head over to our shop page at etsy.com/shop/the Neon Crew Podcast for some quality, comfortable merch.